let's just try and see. Let's just try and see if this stuff is actually coming through properly as it should. Bear in mind, viewers. Alright, it sounds like we're actually getting some audio. Alright. Okay, so from what I'm seeing from my stream feedback, I'm about 20 seconds delayed, so apologies for that. Hello, Daminator11, hello. I'm gonna be so perfectly honest, I have an idea of what I'm meant to be doing, but I don't fully understand how I'm doing this, so I'm kind of just making this up as I go. Alright, that is a very great question, Daminator11. So basically, how I make my timeline videos is I usually get a person in mind that I know has got like a long series, i.e. like T22H3, Victor Tanzig, or Wild in the Wester, and then I decide to run through a series. So ideally I'd search up a timeline thing like this, Victor Tanzig stories are soda. Yeah. Like I'd search up a complete playlist. And then if there's a complete playlist here, for instance, this was the one that I used for the Stories of Sodal timeline. Ideally, if it loads, I would basically run through it entirely and I'd note down in the Google Doc any particular years or events or anything of real major note. Then once I'd go through that, I'd double check it and make sure that, yes, like the trial takes place in 1948, make sure that that takes place in 1963, whenever it is. And then I'd go to Audacity, record it all through, then I would go to my video editing software and I'd basically come back through each of these after I've recorded it, change some of the audio settings, and then basically come back through this. It does involve a little bit of jumping around because, for instance, in Animosity, I do have to kind of jump forward and then jump back when it gets to like 1934 and 1933. And you'll see this when I eventually make the Season 7 timeline. There's some events in, which one is it? In Trickster, that I will have to break up the timeline and then move a section back, because in Trickster, in that opening minute, let me see if I can pull it up after I get through the...
There's more to love with YouTube Music Premium. Listen to ad-free songs and discover new
If I get through the ads, I can then see that... Yeah. For instance, this is 1899. I will have to chop and change this, but this will be included in the Timeline Season 7 video. But when I make the remaster, probably in, 2030? Because I know that Victor Tanzig very recently, if I actually pull up his channel real quick, he has actually stated earlier today that he is working on Season 8, and potentially a return for a certain character. So that'll be pretty interesting. Alright, Enterprise 1480 asks, oh, my stream just momentarily lost for a quick second. Enterprise 1480 asks, do you have your own Thomas headcanon / AU? Well, yes, actually, I do. Basically, my idea is that I have a thing called the Sodal Sagas. Let me see if I can pull it up. Basically, my plan at the current moment is to run a batch of episodes, and I intend to run it from the ground up. So pretty much, I want to make it from 1863 to about to about maybe 2016, maybe even current day. And so I have so far up to about 1870 fully scripted out with each individual character and scenes. Although granted, quite a lot of this will be ad-libbed later on. I would consider Thomas as an LBSC, an LBSCR E4, but I think I would wait for a little bit because there might be a little bit of an ask, because I intend to make this all in trains, and I'm not certain if there's a good model for him, because to be perfectly honest, some of the models that we get for in trains, we are missing quite a few of the keywords, and it's a little bit annoying. Going back, I think I've jumped around a little bit. Okay, I'll ask you your question, Daminator11, and then I'll go to this comment here on the post that I made. If I could change Stories of Sodor, which would you choose? No, which would you choose 3 episodes? Wait, I'm not certain about what that's exactly meaning. Okay, never mind, you've retracted it. But if I could change 3 episodes in general, if that's what the original message was meaning, I would definitely change some of the season 7 episodes, because I do have a few problems with that, notably like Reginald's death. I think there are problems with that, as well as probably also some of season 5 and that one episode from season 6 that I didn't like, the informant one, but we continue going. Alright, at Thomas Stubbs D7K asks, what is your favourite fan series? That is a pretty tough question to ask, actually. I think personally, Engines of Sodor might be my personal favourite. It's just because that's Engines of Sodor, A, is a complete series, because Wild and Wester, it's still ongoing. Stories of Sodor, that's barely gotten up to the 70s at this point. Meanwhile, Engines of Sodor was a complete package, and it's got quite a good variety of content throughout. How long does the average timeline video take, step by step? Ooh, that is a great question, great question. I would say it takes me about not 3 weeks. I'd say it maybe takes me 2 weeks maximum to write up everything and go through it, because to be perfectly honest, you know, each episode is roughly 15 minutes, and for Stories of Sodor there was 100 episodes or so. So yeah, that's about maybe 25 hours of pure content that I'd have to sift through. Then the Audacity recording, I can whip that out in a single day. Then the editing, that takes probably the longest. I'd say that also takes about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks maximum. It depends if I set myself a deadline, which I have done a few times, and I kind of regret it. And the third and final question would be, will there be a Season 2 ranked video? Now I think that's probably a reference to, and I'll have to go back quite a lot. That'd probably have to be a reference to this video. Yeah, I intend to probably make that. At the time it didn't do well in views, and I kind of wanted to continue onwards with other stuff at the time. But it is in the works potentially. I'm going to go back to my photos. I'm going to slowly shift through them while I answer this next question from Daminator11. The relationships episode. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Well, I forgot which one that is. Apologies. I can't remember this off the top of my head sometimes. The relationships episode is... Ooh, that one. I think it was alright. I think that the handling of Randolph was a little bit odd, as well as generally some of the other plot beats in that episode. But I think personally, Engines being married, I'm perfectly fine with. Because, if you're going to be working with your colleague for, about 100 years or so, you're going to have shared interests, and you're going to have at least some moderate affection. Not over the top DeviantArt stuff, but you are going to have at least some, oh yeah, if we were both stuck on a desert island, I'll be stuck with you. But yeah, let's continue onwards. In my photos catalog at the current moment, we have the TSS Earnslaw, which is my profile picture. We were on a trip for like one of our geography things, and I took a lot of pictures of this boat as well as the general Queenstown area. You'll probably see a few. Back to Daminator. The toxic relationship between Thomas and Kate. Yeah, that's the thing. I liked the relationship. They had a great dynamic going, but then it just seems as though it just kind of fell apart just because I don't know, like, they might be able to still be friends. In fact, I think they still said they were going to be friends, but it just doesn't feel right. Like, they were the couple until Henry and Emily showed up, and even then, Henry and Emily don't talk that much anyways. I'd say Samantha and Reginald were a couple, but note the use of the word were there. James and Rosie, that's not really a couple. They haven't really officiated it. Eric and Molly, they somewhat broke up on mutual terms. But yeah, I think it's interesting that the relationship between Thomas and Kate kind of just got so toxic all of a sudden. I'm gonna continue through my photos now. Oh yeah, this was at Gibston Valley, which is somewhere out near Queenstown. There was like this massive wine cave that was about like 100 meters into a mountain. It just smelled so earthy and winey. It was so amazing. I'd 100% go back there. Next one. This was the Carrow Bridge, which was basically a bungee jump bridge. I wasn't technically allowed to climb up this rock, but it was a great vantage point, and it's got quite a good view of everything. Although I think it's actually changed a little bit since then. Next one. We were actually allowed to ride on the Earnslaw out to Walters Peak, and I got this nice little shot here. Walking around, I found this one which had its original kind of superstructure not really there. Like, if you compare that to that, they're quite different. Next one. These were the peaks outside of Queenstown as we continue on through this. These were some old fancy little cars. Oh, this one's zoomed in a bit. Yeah, there we go. Basically, this one was a locomotive that came up to visit at our Heritage Railway, and since then it's actually still been there. Ooh, what was my reactions when like the Scarlowy 123 Richard Jordan thing was revealed? Honestly, I was quite sickened with that actually. Like, that is quite a despicable thing to do. Like, even if there was 10 allegations and none of them got proven as false, that's still one that got proven as true, and I think it's just disgusting. I never really got the whole thing with Richard Jordan. Was it Richard Jordan? I think so. I don't know, I never really followed the Richard Jordan Scully 123 thing. Like, I know that he created Alfred, and that was quite an influential character, but I don't think that... I don't know, I don't really, I don't really want to say this, but it's kind of par for the course for the Thomas fandom. Like, we kind of get someone, like, outed as an aisle or a pedophile or whatever, like, every other day. It's kind of, I don't know, it just feels a little bit wrong. Obviously very bad. It does not weigh down what he did. What he did was despicable. It's just, I kind of just feel like it's kind of par for the course. This was out at Ferrymead, and we had a little wee excursion thing with some of the old locomotives. This one being quite old. I think it's about 120 something, maybe 130. So that's actually quite interesting. And yeah, this is a point of note that I've always kind of discussed with some people, is that the coupling system here in New Zealand is a little bit funky, at least on the old locomotive stock. It's a hook that connects over it, then there's a little wee thing that connects over that, then we've just got two chains and pipes and such. It's not really like knuckle couplings like the US, and it's not like the old chain link couplings of the UK. I think it's called a Norwegian type because that's what they use at Norway, but I can't quite remember on the top of my head. That's it again at Ferrymead. And that's Peveril, aka the one that had a 150th birthday that I started to try and like. Oh, why is it going like this? This was the one that I tried to like reinvent the channel, try and like restart it. And so pretty much it was 150. It was having a celebrations out at Fairymead, and I decided I'll go film it. I'll go film it in like one take on like my old kind of phone. And yeah, I think it was a good idea to restart this channel, considering how far we've come in about, what's it, 2 years? Oops, we've got to move along. Have I got a Google Photos is weird. Some more photos of Peveril. This was a Manning Wardle that I found inside one of the workshops. Kind of looks a little bit like a Charlie or a Billy. Which, by the way, I heard about the news of, what was it, Charlie being announced in the die-cast engine assortment? I mean, it's kind of interesting that die-cast engine assortment, actually. I think that, I don't know, I'm a little bit skeptical because there wasn't really that much evidence provided out of a single image that, quite frankly, I could edit in Photoshop. And, I don't know, it just didn't sit right. There wasn't officially a page to follow for that. Anyways, let's continue onwards. This is another locomotive. I think this is D16. Yeah, it is. So basically, it's another one of those D-class locomotives. I got quite a few of those. Back up at Wicked Pass, now we have DG791, which is basically this is our main diesel. We've got two of these, but this is the one that works the better of the two. Damn, I got quite a lot of photos of that. This was a tramp thing that we did. We had this little weird funky bridge that went over this river. And it was quite a beautiful, serene area, this. Like, it was just quite out in the middle of nowhere. Like, there was no cell service or anything. It was very peaceful out there. There was no need to worry about anything. Oh yeah, a thing that my old phone used to do was that the lighting quality was very bad. Like, it would take a photo like this, and then I'd have to tap the ground to get a photo like that. It was just awful. And this was one of the streams that we had to ford through. It was quite cold, but it was still definitely an enjoyable experience that. You know, we did this all as part of like a scouting thing, and it was definitely a fun time. The moon. You'll see quite a few of these photos throughout. I've got quite a few photos of the moon. Oh yeah, this was a little wee possum that we found one of the nights. Like, we just found it and it was scurrying up the top. We just got our flashlight and just looked at it. It was kind of funny. Oh yeah, that was a photo that I saw one time when I was walking around. It was kind of funny. And this is back to Queenstown now. So we got one of the not the zip line, the gondola that went, like the Skyline gondola that was currently being renovated, but was still allowing people to kind of go up and down and such. But yeah, went out to the Little Peninsula, got some more photos of the Earnslaw. Honestly, some of these photos are actually some of my favorites through this. We got ourselves a little wee funky little napkin stand. Don't know why I took a photo of this. Oh, I think this is the Caro Bridge bungee jump from another angle. Went to Highlands, saw some very interesting cars. Oh, a Ferrari. Probably faster than the Formula 1 Ferrari, to be perfectly honest. Oh yeah, I found a record of Dame Vera Lynn. Like, I found this in my nana's wardrobe, and it's like, that could go for several hundreds actually. That's a vintage record. It even has the We'll Meet Again record on it. Oh yeah, Little Wee Tutel. You'll see a few of those probably. Oh yeah, we were driving back home and then we just had to pull over on the side of the road as this massive house truck came through. That was very random. Oh yeah, some clay shooting. I decided to be very funny with this shot, and I decided to like get my fist and I decided to just punch it rather than just shooting with a little wee thing. It hurt, but it broke and it was very funny. Some more turtles. Oh yeah, this was us going up north for something, and we were being followed by a train up near the Kaikoura section. But we decided to stop at Ohau Point and look at the seals out here. You can probably see them here. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see that one, that one, that one, that one. A big one there, and a big one there. Ooh. More seals. Damn, I took a lot of photos of seals. And the single solitary bird, he gazes, he watches. He flies, he flies. Some more seals. And this was us continuing up on our journey. A nice funky car up near Picton. And this was us on the ferry, following another ferry. And so pretty much we were on the Blue Bridge ones because the Blue Bridge ones were cheaper, but they were kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't really want to say that they were bad, but they've got a lot to be desired on the Blue Bridge ones. And this was as it began to turn night. Some nice night shots, some very bad night photos. My phone really was bad at taking old night photos, weren't they? This was us approaching Wellington, although you would not be able to see. These photos are basically all useless. And this was the approach into Wellington. This was up near the Rimutaka area. I don't think you can see the Rimutaka incline from here, but I think it did used to come through here. I think maybe that is it there. Possibly. Actually, no, I think that's the road. But yeah, the Rimutaka incline used to come up through these roads here with the H-class locomotives. I'm going to search them up. Rimutaka incline. But these locomotives were actually pretty fascinating because they weren't strong at all. So they had to double or triple head them up the steep banks. But it was a real fun time apparently, according to some of the crewmen. And they had a very interesting system of there being a third wheel, but rather than it being rack and pinion, they had effectively 3 wheels around the center rail. So I think that's kind of neat. Moving along now, we got ourselves a nice memorial of the people from Masterton and the eastern side of New Zealand coming over the hills to go to Wellington to then get on the boat so they can go overseas. This was Dannevirke, little wee Viking settlement, Dannevirke. Thomas, woo! It's him. Some power shells, the hardest photo that I've ever seen in my life. The dolphin going through the firing, that is awesome. This was a Napier, quite a decent sized cruise ship there, as well as just the general Napier port. Oh yeah, there was Hastings. Yeah, their train line runs straight through this kind of fountain, straight through the center of town. And annoyingly, about 5 minutes after I took this photo, I was over in the library when all of a sudden I saw the train go past, and it's damn it, if I was out here for 5 more minutes, I could have got some nice video. Oh yeah, this is a very weird one. A red Flying Scotsman puzzle. Were Flying Flying Scotsman, but an A3 in red. Were they ever in red? No, that was the LMS were all in red, weren't they? This is a little wee locomotive that I got from my granddad's place, an old little Marklin type thing with quite a lot of, well, not parts missing, but quite a few parts broken. I'm still trying to fix it. There's a thing that I kind of work on if I've got spare time, which I don't really have a lot. But yeah, it continues going. Oh yeah, a little wee double-decker bus thing that I managed to build. Quite an interesting little thing. And back through Dannevirke. And quite a funky trailer this. That is a tiny trailer for what is ultimately a massive shed on the back of it. I don't know why, it's kind of funny. That was off the Kapiti Island, and this was in Central Wellington Station. Quite a serene location, that. And yeah, you've got all the station platforms. That was Parliament Building. That was the Beehive. And that was my honest reaction. I don't know why I did that, but I think it was the funniest photo that I ever took in my life. Some more Beehive. Some more Wellington Station. some trains. Outside of Wellington Station. Better lighting one. Oh yeah, outside the station they've got a little double feeling. I'm not certain why they have it, but it's interesting nonetheless. And yeah, that was the ferry that we're going back onto Blue Bridge. And so yeah, that was the view from one of the ferries. I think the terminal has since moved. Oh yeah, I find it fascinating as we're coming back into Picton, there's all these random little houses out on the hills near the Charlotte Sound. I find that very interesting. Because how do you even get to some of those houses sometimes? Yeah, I took quite a few photos actually. Yeah, this was a little bit of a freaky little thing that I saw in a magazine once. Does not look good. Oh yeah, this is a locomotive that I always kind of want to talk about. This is the D-class locomotive. What even? What? It just doesn't make any sense. You've got the locomotive there, or the boiler there, then it comes along, slopes down at the back, but it's also like a diesel coupled. It just is a failure of a design. Wait, actually, I think I need to change something. Where is it? Oh, come on. Oh, there it was. Video ideas. But yeah, if anyone's wanting to know what my upcoming schedule is, if you've made it this far into the live stream later, we've gotten through the Wild and Wester timeline, and we have, which was it? I did a few things. I did Stories of Sodor. Oh, Control B. We did that one. We did a 2025 film ranking. I might not release that video, but it was still a fun video to make. And we've got a secret project, aka like the Sodor Sagas mini episode. You might know what it is, but I haven't actually revealed what it is, so maybe we'll find out later. We've got quite a few. We have actually got quite a few video ideas. Like I think like if I actually got off my ass and actually figured out how to get like an editor or something and learn how to do some of this. Like this right here, like the famous steam locomotives, which I wanted to make, that's easily like 12 videos right there, and that could be quite interesting to see. Alright, this was one of the stained glass windows inside of one of the art center buildings. And now we get one of our first of many tram photos. We got quite a lot of tram photos. In fact, I think we might be able to see all the tram photos. So remember that there's 3 reds, 2 blues, 2 greens, and the brown one. So we're seeing 1 blue, 1 red, so we'll see what the rest of it goes. Alright, quite a nice pretty little sunset. Another red one. I believe that's one of the green ones. That's the other red one. The massive Melbourne one. The one that I think is probably the most ugliest. But it has its charm. Oh, this is a thing that I had to do once. I basically had to help set up a crazy thing called a luminarium out near the Chalice, and we had an absolutely bad supervisor. Like she was absolutely yelling at us all the time, but it was still a fun time. Yet another tram, tiny little one. Apparently it's the second oldest working one in New Zealand, or the second oldest in general, but the oldest currently working one, so I think that's pretty neat. Yet again, the blue one, once again, 1888. And this was a very weird occurrence. The tramway restaurant was going. It must have been cruise ship season, because they don't typically run this one during the day. Seagull. Yeah, that was the luminarium once we actually, like inflated it. We did this during the middle of a heat wave. I really think we should not have done that. It was painful, absolutely painful. This was the view from the inside of some of it. Like, you could go through like the domes, and they'd have like things called trees, and there'd be like all random weird colors and such. Oh no, the people who were kind of like running it were a little bit of hippies. This is the view from Christchurch Station, and this was a very interesting time. This was when I helped to build the stage for Foo Fighters when they came to Christchurch. And yeah, it was quite a little bit of a process to get this all done. Some more train photos. Oh yeah, they supplied us well though during the Foo Fighters concert. Like, that was some delicious mac and cheese, and that was a delicious sandwich. Like, I think if I could go back, I would gladly take that or that. Got some merchandise. And this was the general view from when the concert was ongoing. I kind of just stayed back a bit because like you could see everything from the screens anyway, so there wasn't really a need to like kind of run up to the front of the stage. Although, to be fair, I think it was very funny that one guy who ended up like naked on top of like the other guy's shoulders and actually got a shout out from Dave Grohl. That was the funniest thing ever. But yeah, the next day we had to take it all down, and it was not a fun time because I think it was very windy that day, so we had to be very, very careful. King Tom, can you please just shut up? Skibbity or Hog Tour, what are you talking about? Anyways, we'll cycle through all these photos because they're pretty much all the same, and I took like 20 photos of these, and I haven't actually cleared them out yet. But this was one of the mountaineer excursions going to and coming back from Arthur's Pass. And so I decided to do this on a newer phone, and I decided to get like 20 photos as well as filming it. And one of those is actually the background of the main channel. Like, if we scroll all the way back up, it's actually the main background for this, in case you're wondering where I got it from. Good lord, how many did I take? Alright, that was the view from the Isaac Theatre Royal that we did. That was a pretty fun time in there. How to think like a fish. Now, I think this is an important book for everyone to have. Being a fish, oh my god, it is so amazing. I remember this. This was the funniest thing in the world. So basically, we were at Hamner Springs, we were at the library, and for like a humiliation ritual, a guy who was getting married later that week, he laid down on the road, and his friends gave him absolute whacks with a tennis racket. It was so funny because you could just hear the screams of agony from him from all the way through the walls. I went for a drive up to near like the Road and Cars place. Like it's the guy it's the billionaire who's got like his own private racetrack up near like Waiau, and I find it very funny. Oh yeah, this guy, he had like a Nürburgring decal. I want to get that. That's awesome. Some structures, some nice lighting shots. Fire. Next to the gas canister. How fun. This is when one of the rail motors came down from the North Island for a little bit. I find it very interesting. Oh yeah, this is the view from when I was on one of the trains at Wicker Pass. This was the view from the back. It's a very fascinating area. This was for a filming project. I'm not certain what it is because I haven't quite been able to find out what it was. But it was still kind of interesting to see that it was quite nature-y. Photos of trees. Tried some low-angle photography. And this was a very interesting story. I've got a great story about this. So they were ripping up the roads to then kind of put in a new bike lane, which no one liked. But basically, as they were doing it, they found all these old tram rails. And so later on, after we passed one of the other green ones, later on I realized, hey, that's quite a small little bit of rail. Could I have it? And they gave me it. Hence why I now have it. It was about, what's that, 2.5 times the size of my foot, and it weighed probably about 30 to 40 kilograms, but it was so incredibly worth it. But yeah, you'll see here, it's like it's a typical rail, but then it's got like quite a long groove section. That's for the wheels to go in, and then as it goes around the tramway. That's a Meccano Tower Bridge. I'm not certain why I took a photo of that, but I think it's kind of interesting. Where's this photo? Oh wait, that's out near Mackenzie country, I believe. Oh yeah, no, it's out near the Clay Cliffs. Because out near Omarama, there's all these weird clay cliff formations. And trust me, they are crazy. Like, for scale, there is about 1.7 meters. So as you follow up, yeah, it's quite tall. And the reason why we're going down was because of the Warbirds over Wanaka event. And so we had to get up very early in the morning on an April day, quite cold. Oh yeah, there's a little wee character that you might recognize. Wonder who he reminds me of. Oh yeah, and I went around one of the museums that was near the Wanaka airport. Oh my god, it's Jack Black. It's Jack Black. Peach, understand. Oh yeah, and of course there was a little wee model railway. Of course I had to take some photos of that. We got ourselves a little wee Dinty. A little wee, which one was this? Was this, I think that was maybe Union of South Africa? I can't quite remember. Apania? Ooh, great question from Thomas, Romanian fan. Thoughts on Pokemon? I've played Fire Red and I've played some of Pokemon Emerald because those are the only games that are kind of web installed over here. I don't know, I really like the concept of it. I think in some cases it got quite popular all of a sudden with Pokemon Go. And quite frankly, some of the scalping of the Pokemon cards is despicable. But I think it was a great idea that was executed very well. Like, I think the idea of little wee creatures that can go into little wee Pokeballs and can be thrown out and battle each other, I think it was handled very well. Apologies for the mute, I just had to deal with something. But yeah, I think Pokemon was a very, very great idea. And I actually quite like it. I personally more prefer like the Poke Clicker, because that one kind of allows you to go kind of through the game, but also not through the game at the same time. I think Fire Red, I rage quit once because I killed Articuno, but I didn't actually realize that if you kill him, he won't respawn. But then I think I learned later that he can respawn if you like restart the save or something, but I didn't think about that. So yeah, I think Pokemon is really great. I think it deserves to be quite of a popular franchise. Is it a little too popular? Yeah, but to be fair, everything's a little too popular these days. Moving on. I see a little wee character. Quite a few actually. Interesting. Oh yeah, this was in the barn that they had at the back. There's a weird dirt floor and they had these weird fancy little cars. They got a little wee Harold look-alike. A fancy car that could go like real fast. I can't remember how fast it said on the placard. Oh, this is a fancy little one. I can't remember what type of locomotive that is on the top of my head, but I think that's a well-known one. And of course, Smokey Joe. We always gotta have a Smokey Joe out there. And this was quite a larger scale locomotive. It looks quite a lot of like Puffer. Is it Puffer or... Yeah, I think it's Puffer from Tugs. It looks quite a lot like it. It's quite a large scale, to be perfectly honest. And this is a little wheel. This is a locomotive. They're quite decent sized locomotives. Like, I think, like, my hand could go around that and pick it up, but, like, it's, like, holding, like, a cheeseburger. Like, that's how tall it was. And, of course, a large-scale Jar Jar Binks. And this, we've got quite a lot of photos of this. That's one of the, I think that's an F-22 or an F-18. Going very, very fast. That's the reason why there's like 20 photos of these. And I apologize if I'm going through these way too fast. I kind of just have to get through them fast because there's like 100 of these. I really should have deleted these before I started the stream. Oh well, they're kind of nice photos to have. Point of note, the sun. It was, I don't know what it is around Wanaka, but for some reason in this weird hazy condition, it feels as though it's like the sun's going through like a hole in the ozone layer and you get like extra sunburnt. Like, I had quite a decent amount of sunscreen on and I still was kind of red as a lobster, although my brother, he was definitely red. How many photos did previous Mallard take? Oh my god. Oops, I skipped ahead too far. This, I can't remember which plane that is. I think that's I can't remember what that one is, but I think that's the same one as Skipper from the Planes movies. I believe on the top of my head it's P-51, but I cannot quite remember. Maybe it's a Corsair. Yeah, I think it's a Corsair, I think. This was a Mustang. People will probably recognize this from the end of Top Gun Maverick. Quite a fancy little plane, that. And that, of course, is the Spitfire. Because every single plane show's got to have a Spitfire. This is a really nice sunset when we had to like wake up at like 5 AM to be able to go to the next day of the Warbirds event, and it was very, very foggy when we got there. Very foggy. Those were some jet planes that were brought out from display, but they were all kind of just, yep, like there. These were all fancy jets from the Pilatus range, and they cost, quite frankly, a lot of money. Like I think if I got every single subscriber that I had, got the entire net worth of their entire lineage, we would not be able to even afford this. It was crazy. I got a quite nice photo of all the planes here, but also in the background, you can see all of the camper vans on the hill. They had a prime view of the Warbirds event. I think next time I should probably try and get there. This is a fancy little, tiny little plane. And this was one that was a very decent surprise. Basically, in the Clive Cussler story, Atlantis Found, there's, like, in the book, there's a little wee quick scene about how they're trying to find like, the massive thing. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it. I know exactly which one this is, but I can't remember on the top of my head. It was the Antarctic Snow Cruiser. Yeah, this crazy thing. Basically, there's a scene where Clive Cussler and his son in the book, as them playing themselves, are trying to find this buried in the snow, because they designed this to go across the Antarctic, and they had a little wee plane for reconnaissance stuck. Hello, Arkamavu8735. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Basically, they had this plane to go on reconnaissance things, and they recovered this plane because apparently they took this plane away because, okay, the story goes is that this thing ran out of fuel and they just left it there, but they haven't actually found it since. They have a rough idea where it is, but they have not actually been able to find it. It is still there in Antarctica to this day, apparently. But the plane, they flew home, and as the story goes, it was found in this guy's backyard. And then, if we go back to the photo, I think he sold it or he then took it away. and hence why it is now here at the Warbird Show. And it's a very fascinating thing because I recognized it and I was like, hold up, that's the snow cruiser. Like, that's the snow cruiser. That's like the funniest thing in the world. Yeah, here's a little more photos of it. Yeah, but yeah, it was not a good design at all because they had rubber wheels in Antarctica. Here's back to the planes. Spitfire. I think that was Smokey. No, not Smokey Joe. I think this was the crazy guy. There was a. That's a crazy photo. It's actually got the. You can actually see the wing, like the rings around his cockpit as the plane's cutting the air. This, I believe, was. I can't remember which one that is. I think that's one of the. I think that's a bomber, not a bomber plane, but it's. I can't remember. This. Why did I take a photo of this? Oh yeah, that was two of the planes flying in formation. I wish I'd got more photos of these, to be perfectly honest. Some more little wee jet fighters. Some skydivers. They did some fancy little things above us. You know, they all came down in a perfect formational line. And this, we got a lot of photos of this. This was the Hercules. Of course, the Hercules have now been kind of retired from NZ service. But it was still fascinating to see this in action. And there was even a shot back there somewhere. There was a shot here of it about like I don't know, 20 meters off the ground. There's a shot later, I think, or what happened later on was that they had it about 6 meters above the ground. Yeah, it was quite crazy actually. Some more planes. I believe that's the wooden Mosquito, the plane that's basically mostly wooden components. And this was all of them doing a ceremonious flyover. Here's a better photo of the Mosquito. And this was one of the bridges at Alexandra. Basically, the old bridge had it that you could walk across, and there was also a driving section. But when the river levels rose due to the Clyde Dam kind of being installed, they had to build this new one. But yeah, you can see there that it was eventually gone. Oh, back to more tram photos. Alright, this was the Cathedral Square before. They've since like kind of removed some of the fencing around here, but it's still fenced off at the current moment. Another green one, another red one, another red one. Oh yeah, I saw this at a garage sale thing once. $5 each for all of this not for all of this, but $5 each for items inside of here. And there's quite a decent variety of this. So who knows, maybe it's still there. I might be able to go to it, although I took this photo in like 2024. Alright, this is the little shelf unit that I designed, which basically holds all of my train books, all of my important ones. Got a whole bunch of magazines, of course, the Thomas the Tank Engine collection, the most important book that everyone should have. Yeah, and basically, what I did during the Railway Series reviews was I read through these ones for the Reverend Wilbert Audrey stuff, but then for the Chris ones, I used the Ertl guys ones. So I think that's kind of interesting. And this, I got this from a random find for about $10. You'll notice that that's not actually a standard picture. That is actually gem art. Like, that is individual little wee pieces that have been stuck down onto the sticky surface. I kind of wish that I'd be able to done. Like, I got this like in the frame. I wish that I'd been able to do this because I quite like those gem art stuff. Oh, this photo emanates some crazy spooky vibes. But actually, this is the one that's out at McLean's Island, and it keeps getting changed every so often. This, I've got great stories to tell about this. Basically, what we had to do later on is that we had to basically build and design an entire cart like like this. Like, we were given only side frames, the wheel, the engine, and the steering wheel, the engine, and the wheels. But the rest of it we had to kind of design on our own sim, and it was a bit of a process. Oh yeah, we got this from Granddad's. That's quite a fancy little painting. That clock tower, view from a field, view from the shores of, I think this is Lake Tekapo, with of course a standing stone cairn. But yeah, it was quite foggy and it was very, very cold. Like, that is trees with frost on it. And of course, the obligatory snow. Thank you, photobombed car. And yeah, there were some photos of Lake Dunstan coming through. But yeah, it was frigid through here. Clyde Dam. Oh my god. It's a hawk. It's a hawk. King Tom, if you're watching this, you know what that means. But yeah, some more photos of the Clyde Dam. And I took these photos for later reference because I mean, without trying to say anything, I'm not trying to promise anything, I am trying to write a story, and write a book, and it does actually have quite a bit of a central plot point, the Clyde Dam, so I kind of took every bit of information that I could while I was there. Some more photos. Oh yeah, this was out near Mount Summers, actually no, not Mount Summers, out near Staveley Ice Rink, which about a few weeks after this, some person died after tripping and falling. So that was an interesting moment. The rear of a tram, if anyone was wondering. Crusaders. Oh, this was inside of the Curail Waltham Mechanical Hub, so basically one of the latest buildings that is out near, that's designed for them to go down and fix up all of their locomotives, and I think it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's very modern, but their locomotives are very old, hence why they are getting new ones, but they are coming in progressively. Some of them probably not as successful as the others. I think around this time I got a new phone, so I decided to play around with taking a photo in a standard shot, then a 2x shot. Ghetto. Now you know we're in New Zealand when there's a random traffic cone in places that you don't expect to find a traffic cone. This is randomly one of the best photos that I've actually taken. You wanna know why it's one of the best photos I've ever taken? It's because of this. It's because I've got a good clear focus in the foreground, I've got a great background focus there, everything is perfectly lined up in the rule of thirds. It is a randomly great image that I took of a pie. Oh yeah, these things aren't great. They're like a new prototype thing to send people around. They randomly got gondolas, but they do not understand that people will just press the stop button and take a photo from where they are. There's nowhere to store your luggage, so if you're going from the airport into the center of town, which they basically said they were intending to do, there is nowhere to put your luggage at all. It's not a great concept. If I ever go back there again, I am telling them that to their face. Some more tram. More tram. Hey, we finally get the brown one. The tiny little dinkiest little one. The one that's basically a cylinder. Not a cylinder, a cuboid. Nice, some really nice photography from one of the gantry bridges. Although it's quite a bit of a morbid... It's a bit of a morbid bridge because you can faintly see there is actually a dent in the wood. Yeah, story goes that apparently two guys decided to try and hitchhike from Waipara on the top of a freight train. And the thing is, from Waipara to Christchurch, there's no bridges except for here. And so when they came along to this, it was not a great sight when they arrived. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite books that I've ever gotten. It's just got a whole bunch of facts about Titanic. Maybe when it comes to April, I might actually make like a Titanic series because there is a lot of stuff inside of this book. Oh, first video. This is one of the diesel fear honking. But that is a guy that does not slow down. So more trains. More trains. Little wee one that's got a little wee tiny little short wheelbase like Duncan. Oh, and this. I think this was when I actually decided to start making that Peveril video. Like, that's the thumbnail for that one. Like, that's when I actually decided to try and start getting back into things. This one. Oh, this one. This one's a great book from Clive Cussler. Although the story is that this one was like one of the hardest ones for me to actually find because it used to be on library shelves. Keyword used to be. So when I went into the secondhand bookshop and then found it, I was like, well then I found it, hooray. Oh yeah, and this was for the Tangiwai video, which basically I found like I've got a really great book that describes everything here. So you've got all of the carriages, note all of the second class carriages, then it goes to the first class carriages, then to the postage van, then to the guards van. Actually no, guards van, then postal van. But yeah, you'll notice that actually the people that died in the calamity were mainly from the second class, in E, D, C, B, and A, with car Z being the one that teetered off the edge. And yeah, for some reason some of these photos were quite topsy-turvy. But yeah, this is how it all kind of looked when everything was said and done. Basically, you had the locomotive there, you had the carriage there, you had one that went that way, one that went that way, one that went all the way there. But yeah, like the Whangaehu River, and this is the point that I'd like to note about the reason why Cyril Ellis would not have been able to have made it to the bridge. The road bridge was here. The rail bridge is there minimum. If we take the scaling of it, what's it? If that sees about 60 yards, and that's okay, let's maybe say at minimum he has maybe 200 meters to run. Granted, if you're in that situation, you're going to be running as fast as you can. But he would not have been able to make it onto the rails as he claimed. Like, you'd have to be an athletic sprinter to at least get over 2 fences, to my knowledge, that were there that night. And the fact that the light from the train was very likely about here in terms of if we followed the map. Oh no, so it's a bit of a weird conundrum. But yeah, so this is the bridge that was there. I think I had managed to get this moderately correct when I was making the Tangiwai video, although I think it was a little bit of an out of perspective thing because I made it quite of a deep gully. And some of the crosses, some of the memorials. But yeah, this is all the cleanup shots. That I believe is Lake Pukaki, with some weird clouds going over. These are flowers that are actually weirdly a pest. They're known as lupins, and they've got really great colours, and they always kind of spring up during the January-December period. Cromwell Bridge. Nice little tree at Queenstown Airport. Oh, this is chaos. Basically, at Woodford Glen, they sometimes do like demo derby nights and fireworks nights, but their traffic situation is absolutely abysmal. Once the racing ends, quite frankly, everyone tries to go out of a 2-lane road. And yeah, let's just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 10 lines in here. Ghetto. That was one of when I was going along up to Hamner. I got quite a lot of photos of this. View from a camper van. Donut. This was like the most tastiest thing I've ever eaten in my life. Second is the eclair. That was pretty good. These are giant redwood sequoias that are outside the Hamner Pool Springs. No, the Hamner Springs Pool. The TARDIS. Although to be fair, I think if you went in there, I think it'd be really funny if you open up the door and it just started playing the the Doctor Who theme. But yeah, basically this was a weird little bookshop thing. Like basically you'd put in a book, and then you'd be able to take a book. It was a really weird kind of scenario. Randomly a Brazilian flag in Hamner. Odd. Duck. Now this is what we call a duck moment. Now as we go up the conical hill, I took a few photos along the stage. The falcon, it steers. It knows what I did. It knows what you did. Basically, the conical hill trick, it goes out to like the top of Hamner, and you can see quite a distance around. There's a little wee hut that they have. And it's got quite good views around. That was one of the things. Oh yeah, I think this is a video of from the view of a Christchurch gondola as we're going up over the city. As you'll note, it always seems to be in this permanent haze thing whenever I go up there. It's really odd. Like typically, like they say, like, oh, on a clear day you can see like way out over there is like Kaikoura, but you just can never ever see it because of this weird haze effect. Also, I think you can barely see the new Christchurch Stadium, and I think I've got more photos of that later on. Because I think I took these stuff in 2025. Ooh. So here we got ourselves a little wee Littleton Port, Christchurch Gondola. Why did I take a photo of this? Oh wait, I know why I took a photo of that. Yeah, that's the weird scaffolding that's at Christchurch, like the new Christchurch State. Well, not the new one, but the old one that's going to be renovated. Like this here is likely going to be demolished later on. And this was a game that we watched of the Phoenix versus Coast Mariners. Although to be fair, there was no goals. There was no goals scored, so there were moments of fun, but it was a little bit of a boring match. Geese. Now this is a geese moment. It's a burb. I think my mum said that this was a quail. Which actually, was it a quail? Quail. Yeah, looks like it. Looks like it's a quail. But yeah, we don't really see quails that often, so I think that was kind of interesting. Oh yeah, this was at a Bryan Adams concert with a bit of a beginning performance from James Arthur. They had that flying around. I'll skip through this because I've got quite a lot of videos. I think that was a surprisingly great photo that I took of him. Because Bryan Adams, you probably know the songs of like The Summer of '69. There's quite a few on the top of my head that like I know of, you definitely know of them, but I can't tell you what the names of them are. This is a weird little flying little blimp that they had. We had four propellers. And shout out to the kid that was behind us. Whenever it would turn around and it would face us, it would be like, it's coming right at us. Yes, it is, and I hope it hits you, kid. You said that like 5 times. But yeah, so we keep on going through. Got quite a lot of them. Oh, why has it gone dark? Oh, there's my previews thing. Wait. Oh, we're only in January? Alright. But as we go through all of them, I think I just must have been just in a mood. I just decided to take so many photos. Oh yeah, he went from the stage to an area out near the back, and it was crazy because he walked right in front of us. Like, let me go back a bit if I can see, if I can get a POV of where we were sitting. Sorry about this. Yeah, he walked right along there. Like at the time, that was like the closest I'd ever gotten to a celebrity. Although that later changed. But yeah, and I think somewhere in here is one of the best photos that I've actually taken. I think it's either this one or that one. Oh, I think it's this one. I think it's just crazy because it's just the lighting was perfect. Ugh. Some more mountain shots. I think there's a pattern that I took. I took quite a lot of mountain shots and I didn't take quite a lot of people shots. Oh, this was a random occurrence. There was a hot air balloon that just decided to float over Christchurch City, causing a bit of a stir on the Facebook groups and the things. Now this. Hey King Tom, I know that you like this one. The moon. The moon. Oh, this when I was busy editing a video, and a little wee fantail. It's a tiny little bird. But yeah, it moved around a bunch, so I decided to take a few photos. This one, it's staring into my soul. Actually, my favorite, that one. Done. It's so funny because it's just looking at me. It's like, why? Oh yeah, this was at McLean's Island at a Steam extravaganza. Quite a few moving things. Oh yeah, one of the locomotives. I thought that this one was like in service, but they just never ran it. No, they can't run it. It just doesn't have a boiler. So that kind of sucks. But what doesn't suck is that the other locomotive that usually runs, the Fowler one, that was still going. Can't really play the videos of it because else it explodes. This was a locomotive that was named after Ernest Rutherford, one of the guys from New Zealand who actually managed to split the atom. And this is the Christchurch Stadium from one of the views. Obviously, quite a lot of the paneling has been added since then, but wow, it is big. There's more Clyde Dam stuff. This was at Ashburton. We had quite a lot of planes inside the Aviation Museum, and some trends. Yep, got that one. Alright, this was one of the Anzac Day parades. And this was a fancy car that we saw when we were going out to it. Quite a fancy one. This, why did I take a photo of this? Oh yeah, this is the KB class, I believe. Decided to take a few blueprints of that. Who knows when that may become relevant in the future. Now this was on like an absolutely freezing day in July, when I was doing some volunteering out of Weka Pass for like for their Franz experience, well, their Franz visit, the Federation of Railways Associations of New Zealand. I think that's what it is. I can't remember quite frankly. But around this time, this was when like the Aurora Australis was forming, and since I was out in basically the middle of nowhere with no lights, you could just faintly see it when the sun was coming up, and it was just crazy. Now this is the boy. Now this is A428, and I think I had some video of it running, but I don't have it anymore. And we can't really run it again because its boiler has expired, and we're still trying to kind of figure out a way to get a new one. And quite frankly, the cost of that, it's going to be quite costly, and I think it won't be able to run again for the next 5 years. We're thinking of when it comes back into service, we're going to make it oil burning, because currently coal is quite expensive. But yeah, they dragged them all out for the Franz people to kind of walk around and look and view. We had our little DE512 since being DE512. Then the Wickham little wee trolley thing, that was quite a little wee fun little caravan on wheels. And this was DG770. Ooh, I think that one's one of my favorite shots actually. This one I took one time from a person, I think their name was Mrs. Mary, but since then they've been outed as a bit of an odd person. and so I never really seen that to them. But they were wondering like what the inside of a guard's van would look like, and this is kind of how it looks like. There's kind of a big compartment full of large storage. Then you come in here, you've got seating here. Then you've got the handbrake, then you've got more seating. On your left here is a fireplace, and you've got all your papers and such and everything that you need for a day. And so pretty much what we did here, what we were doing here was that we were heading up ahead because there are two gates there. I was one of the gatekeepers, hence why I got this video here. And so pretty much we had to hold open the gate. Because like both the gates are both manual. And now this one here, I found out a way to put my phone on the door so it would be perfectly static. It's him. It's him. It's the Pookie. It's the Pookie LeBron James. Brown Dimes. Alright, we've got some more photos now. Some of mountains. Now this is the range that is known as the Hawk Dun range. Not the Hawk Tour, the Hawk Dun. But yeah, we definitely were trying to keep a straight face when we found out the name. This was an old little fancy little bridge as we were wandering through. Now these are some of my favourite photos that I've ever taken. We were heading up north to go to a Wrexham Phoenix game, which I have more photos of later. But we had to see out like really early in the morning from Kaikoura to get to Picton. And so we left before the sunrise, like before the sun rose. We took some photos of the mountains as we were going along. But then we found the perfect place to stop, and we got the perfect kind of sunrise photos. Like, wow. Sky around was all red, that was all rising. And when we got to Picton, I got some videos of trains, well not videos of trains, but photos of trains, and as we went through the Interallender terminal, there's some of our little wee diesel shunters. Now we've got quite a few photos of the Interallender ferry, I believe. So we'll zoom through these a little bit. Oh yeah, I think a point of note is that on Blue Bridge they don't actually have that many chairs up here. Meanwhile, Interallender's got a lot of chairs up here. I think this might have been the ferry that they filmed. There was a scene in Porcupine 2017. Let me see if I can find it. I know exactly what this one is. It's Please say someone's actually put the photo up here. No one's put the photo up here? But there's a scene when they're like on the ferry after having gotten to a container van, and then like they're on the ferry and then they're doing their whole drama thing because it's like a drama movie. And so they're just on the top and they're just talking and doing whatever. But like they're still kind of they're not really thieves, but like they're still being hunted by the police at this point. So I don't know why they're wanting to go up on top of the thing where everyone can see them. But yeah, I'd say that was probably you had to get your lines correct, or else you would have been donezo. Because you can't really tell the ferry captain to stop. But you got a wee shot of the plane coming over. There was us approaching into Wellington, the Sky Stadium thing. That was one of the Blue Bridge ferries. I think that's the one that is the Connemara. Okay, there was the Strait Feronia has since been discontinued, replaced with Olivia. This was at Wellington Station yet again. And this was us in the Wellington Phoenix March singing like I can't remember what the chant is on the top of my head, but basically there was a guy with the drums and he was just like bashing it, and then people kind of just figuring out the chant as we were going along. And it was so funny. Of course, Rob McAnally in his gloriousness at the turf, which is basically a little wee tent thing that they hooked up, had people pouring beers and pints. And this was our view because we were down near one of the views just behind one of the goals. And you've got the yellow fever. You probably can't see it here. I'll try and zoom in. The yellow fever there, they're like the Wellington like major supporters. Like they turn up to every single Wellington Phoenix home game, and it's very mental. Oh yeah, this guy, he was the GOAT. I don't know why he was the GOAT, but he was just the GOAT. Like he was interacting with some of the kids. He was just being like, "Boy, kids, like don't like do this, don't do that, or whatever." But like, he was just the GOAT. Oh yeah, this was near the end when we went around and we were like starting to get like some signings and such. And actually, if I go along, oh yeah, this like we were basically like one of the last people to leave from there. Basically, and no, this isn't a MAGA hat. This is a Wrexham hat. Basically, we got some from the goalie, we got some from Phil Parkinson, and we got some from like the Wrexham higher ups. We got some from the Phoenix players. But we didn't actually get anyone from the Wrexham squad. Like there were some boys that were kind of like wondering like, oh, when's Ollie Palmer gonna come back out here? And we were thinking that as well, but it was a little bit odd because the Wrexham players, because the game ultimately ended in a 1-0 win to Phoenix, but the Wrexham players kind of just never came out again, and it was a little bit odd. That was a little wee bit of a thing that we got. Quite an interesting little scarf, and that was a very early wake up to go back home. We got ourselves some scrambled eggs. I got myself some pancakes, and this is some of my favorite photography that I've actually taken. Like this shot here, I lined up perfectly a rule of thirds idea to have the beehive be like on the center of a line, and it's a pretty good shot. Let's continue along. Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna have a lot of dawn shots going out of Wellington. We've got some panoramas now. I must have been hyper this morning. I took a lot of photos. Jesus. Oh yeah, there was a joke between some of us on the ship that the ferry behind us was ever so approaching. Like, was slightly gaining on us, and we're like, it approaches. But yeah, that's the general approach that they kind of have to take to get into Wellington Harbour, because I believe that one there is Barrett Reef, or one of the ones up here is Barrett Reef, where the Wahine struck and sunk during a storm. That was not a fun time. Let's continue along. And trust me, once we get through all of these photos of yours still here in the live stream, we're going to then just go through every single comment that does have a question in it. Even if I've already answered it, I will answer it again in the live stream to be more clarificial. Clarificial? Is that even a word? But yeah, the tugboat, for its size, is the most powerful craft afloat. Or however the rest of the thing starts. Fancy little thing on the thing. Oh yeah, this was a fancy little rail bridge thing where like the rails can go along the top, and there's a cycle train below, but at the very end is a little wee thing for the Marlborough Flyer. So yeah, the rail comes along the top, and the road used to come down below it, but since then it's been replaced with a standard bridge. And this is at Kaikoura. I don't know why I took a photo of that. Maybe it's a bug or something. Hey, happy. See, now this is a perfect bumper sticker, because honestly, horses, are they even real? I don't think they are. Ha. Oh, I remember this. Let me tell you about season 5. This was a moment. This was a moment in history. We all took a picture. Rhino. Some fancy cars in the midst of being renovated. Some actually quite fancy cars. I know this is all kind of sideways. You kind of gotta like turn around, but like I censored the license plates of some of them because they are being made by people. A very, very great sunset. Oh yeah, this was, I don't know what one of our team members was thinking for this to be a seat mount, but I don't know. But yeah, this was one of the teams cards because there were 3 teams. They made theirs incredibly skinny. Boom. He stares. Oh yeah, Lego Titanic model that I have. I got that one for about like $300 on like AliExpress, and I had to make sure that it was the right one. And there is a way that you can find out that it is the right one. There's a piece that's inside of it that's a little wee tombstone thing that's got the initials TC on it. And if you can find that piece in there, you've got an authentic one, because that's the one that was like a thing to like be like a reference to one of the guys used to design models. This, while I was reading through a book, Railways on British Stamps, and we got some stamps of the Thomas Tanglin characters, and I think that was very interesting. Oh yeah, this, I'm actually quite a skilled worker on the lathe apparently. You know, I made those 4 on the spot. That allowed us to make some little things to extend out the bumper. That was our general setup for the things. I made those eccentric rings, which that was not a fun time to do. But yeah, we were slowly figuring out how to make this cart work for an engineering project. I made those really quickly in about an hour. That was one of our model train shows, Louis TIE Fighter, for period authenticity. I took some sneaky photos of some of the other carts to find out what we actually had to do, stole some parts, did things. But yeah, these were the things that I made. I made them very, very neat, very... Like, it is crazy because I had to turn them eccentrically, like off-centered about 4 point something to get the hole through correctly. And it was not a fun time, I'll tell you that. Some welding going on. Oh yeah, this was one of, basically, going back to the Sodal Sagas, I intend to have it as a idea throughout that Mr. Mac, like the previous owner, like the first owner of, one of the first controller of the Cravensgate Railway, whatever it is, I intend to have that he always called Skarloey Engine, because he and Skarloey never saw eye to eye. But Renias always gave him respect from the start, so Renias always gets named by him. Like, he's always like, well, Engine, as Renias has mentioned, you tend to buck like a bronco. Like, he always sees the Engine. He only ever addresses him as Skarloey if he's, like, messed up. Oh my god. One moment. Apologies for that, I just had to sort out a personal matter at the moment. Let me just get back on topic. I know it was a bit of a dead spot there for a moment, but I am now back. But yeah, like I'd have it that I'm just trying to I'm just trying to reorganize all of my stuff. It's annoying. It's annoying when this happens. Just had to deal with a personal call at the moment. Yeah, I'd have it that basically Mr. Mac always kind of thought that Skarloey just wasn't worthy of a name, so to speak. And now this was our cart continuing to be manufactured. And so basically we got our side parts on, we got our frame stiffener at the front on. Now this was the locomotive Prince of Wales being put into its BR Blue livery, and I think it is one of the best liveries ever. Because like it just looks perfect. It does look pretty perfect. This is the thing of James May on the cab of Arthur, you know, 41241. There was one of the locomotives for the whale train. I think I've got a video of it later on. Or you've probably seen it in the short that I posted. These were things that I manufactured, you know, I made that, you know, welded it all together. Like, this is all authentically me. This is all authentically me own made. This, I think this wasn't as great as, like, this one was probably the better one of the two. This one wasn't as great, but they're still both pretty good for what ultimately was a bit of a pod job, and I think I really should have done it better, but, can't change it now. Some more welding. This is when some fires are. Oh yeah, this was when I posted the Sortal Productions video. In fact, notice a theme with these people, and notice a theme that these people I know have been in his comments constantly glazing and being like, oh, Sortal Productions, you're the best person in all of humanity ever. I think that these three have got a little bit of a comment. Like, why do you think that my video from a 1,000 sub channel to a 9k video as of saying this gave him any attention? Like, come on, mate, just come on. That was that fully made. Oh shit. So that was our carts fully functioned. That was a random thing. Random. That was our carting experience. There was some parts that I had to make. Yeah, that was the specifications for what ultimately these eccentric rings were. You know, 45 out of diameter, 25 in diameter, but they were from this bar. Moon. Alright, that was from when that was a thing from Duke of Gloucester hitting some buffers. This was when I got that reading between the lines book, and actually I got the one that's got the blanks in it, so that was a very fun time. But I think I am definitely going to keep it, because I think that the blanks version is like the funnier version. No! Damn! Has stolen my package. This is so sad. My letterboxed. Oh yeah, this is a camera at work. Note, this camera works. This camera is what it's meant to be. This is how it currently is. It's currently hanging. And so it's not good. These are ideas for, they want to maybe have a connection thing, like a rail connection to the new stadium. And so they want to use these old DMUs. And so maybe I can try and drive one of those eventually. Oh. And so I think that's really, oh no, I still got more. But we're almost at the end, folks. And then we'll get into some actual proper Q&A stuff. Like, I'm actually going to look at all of the comments that I have that have questions with them. So pretty much, there's all some fancy garages out near Highlands Park, out near the Falcon's Nest. And this was when Liam Lawson was actually going to Highlands for a private signing thing. And there he is. No, let's go back. There he is. It's him. That was an absolute surreal experience, actually, to see him just walking past it. That was a crazy thing. Like, we didn't expect that to happen. We thought he was going to walk up and he'd just go sit at the desk. In fact, he even signed some stuff, and I got some photos of him. Fascinating, fascinating. But yeah, got myself a Liam Lawson Rotom cap, and it's all been signed and such. This chair is the squeakiest thing in the world. Oh yeah, at Highlands there's a thing called the Loo with a View, and you've got them all themed. So you got one of the guy who owns Highlands. I can't remember what his name is. I think it's Dick Becker or something, on his Mona Lisa thing, and it's all fancy and it's got the fancy toilet. God, I really should have tried to take these all in like vertical format. Like this one I took in vertical, I think. But yeah, this is one of the fancy little two-seater cars. That one wasn't driven by Linux, one of the other ones was, but it was still a fascinating experience nonetheless. There were some photos of Cromwell, some photos of Wanaka, and one of this one Haviland plane that basically was going from Christchurch to Milford Sound, and it just never arrived at Milford Sound. They don't actually know where it is. It basically crash landed and they don't know where it's gone to. Okay, we've still got some more photos. We've still got one more trip. Rainbow. But if you actually notice, it's actually I think it was actually a double rainbow. Like you can very faintly see a double rainbow there forming, and so that was neat. Oh, that's when I kind of realized, oh wait, I had passed 1,000 subscribers. Of course, now it's about 1,170 something, maybe 1,180. But yeah, very fascinating that we've passed that number in ultimately a relatively short time. This was going up to Auckland, doing some flying, and this was on the touchdown, of course. They were doing rail upgrades on the Auckland rail network, so I couldn't actually ride on the rail network, but there were rail replacement buses, so at least there was something. But it was still a little bit unfortunate there were no trains. That was at, I think it's Papatoetoe signal box, and that's Mount Wellington. There's quite a lot of mountains actually in the Auckland area. And then, as we were coming around a hill, I realised, oh, that's a great shot. That's kind of got all of the things of the Auckland city centre. And so as we come along, that was one of the malls there. They've got quite a lot of malls there. This was a view from a double-decker bus that we took to get out to Motad. And as we passed the central fire station, amidst all the fire strikes that they're currently doing. Again, so surreal that we're on like the double-decker. Like we're quite high up and quite forward. Now at Motad, we're at there's the Western Springs pumping station, a very weird looking motorbike, a really weird looking car, and this. Well then, Duncan, you're not gonna have to worry about your funnel being chopped. This is what could have happened to you. Alright, this was a little weird little model railway. Like you actually went down and you went under, and then there was a little model railway just underneath the thing, with a quite impressive little scale viaduct. And this apparently was one of the old station buildings. Of course, it's since been kind of like moved and re-renovated, but this is meant to be like an old station platform, so to speak. And this is the one that surprised me a lot when I actually was searching around there. This is an Auckland tram network. So it used to be trams to go out near Newmarket, Mount Eden, Epsom, Remuera. Like there's a lot of trams. Why is there so many trams here? But then of course they all ripped them up. And we've got some more trams, Tram 11, Tram 135, and this one, the Baldwin 100. Now this one's actually a steam tram. So yeah, we've got ourselves another little Toby. I don't know what happened with this photo, but here's a better photo. This is one that is designed to be that it's got propellers that will lift it up, and then it's got a massive propeller at the back that'll keep it moving forward, and so it's meant to be envisaged as like a taxi type thing. Little wee fancy little plane. Yet another tram, 248, Motat, Burb. They've got quite a lot of art networks. And we got ourselves a little wee pigeon shopping inside the Woolworths. fascinating. Oh, he spotted me. And this was the most ghetto thing that I've ever done in my life. Basically, and for context, that's a slur for like no, that's not a slur. It's slang for basically just the most scuffed and the most outlandish thing I've ever done. So we got a colander, and we put the chips inside the colander, and then we put the pizza over top of the colander, and it actually worked. I don't know how it worked, but it worked. And yeah, so now we've got some more photos from city centre. And of course, we've got quite a few photos of the Sky Tower. I took one of like every single possible vantage point. So yeah, there's Auckland Harbour. And so yeah, for context, these photos were taken on New Year's Eve at about like 7 p.m. Actually, no, about 8 p.m. Because the story was that we heard like a really, really loud ship horn that sounded like a cruise ship. And we thought, oh, there's a cruise ship here. But no, we went outside and was like, oh, there's not really a cruise ship, but we're already out, so we may as well wander around town. And so then we decided to stay around town until the fireworks actually went off. And so we got quite a lot of photos. That's of the Wynyard Quarter viaduct opening and closed. I've got a few videos of that somewhere on the channel. Now this was a delicious bit of ice cream. This was chocolate, coconut, and activated charcoal, hence why it was quite black. But yeah, it was very, very tasty. I would recommend. Auckland Harbour Bridge. Yeah, we went a long way around. We even found this crazy warehouse that just had a whole bunch of boats. Like, we're walking down, we looked to our right and we were like, what even is that? But yeah, some more Sky Tower shots. This was ultimately our vantage point that we picked because A, there was no one really around here, and B, it was still kind of close to where we were staying. Why did I take a photo of that? Oh yeah, that was the scuffed roundabout that no one took correctly. And so, hooray! Got some photos of the Sky Tower in action. You know, doing its whole, you know, like the explosions and such. And I've got the full video somewhere on the channel if you were interested. One of the great things about our accommodation actually is the fact that we had complimentary breakfast. So I got quite a lot of mushrooms, some bacon, some sausages, some pancakes. Really good stuff. And now we got ourselves the Auckland Museum. And we've got someone who I recognise. A little bit of a baboon, a little bit of an ape. And so yeah, we got some nice things with the followers. What's his name? Cantalapalon3617 asked, how long have you been streaming for? I think it's been about an hour 40 now. We've just been running through photos and such here. But once we're done with the photos, I'm just gonna be looking at like random questions on the channel and answering just about most of them. Now going back to the Tangiwai disaster, and this was one that surprised me a lot looking around the museum, was the KA949 actual nameplate. I thought that this would have been scrapped. In fact, you can actually see that it's got quite a bit of damage here along the right here where it's seemingly been ripped. It's been bent around something and it's been bent back slightly. But yeah, real fascinating stuff. That was of apparently a V1 rocket that they actually found intact. I had an idea what a V1 looked like, but I never actually realized it had that and that. Like for some reason when I think V1 rocket, I thought of like the thing from Tintin where it's got like the three bottom things and it kind of goes up and then kind of goes down. At the Scottish Spotter asked, what's my favorite TTE character? That is a great question, actually. I've never actually thought properly about what my favorite character is. Like, I quite like Toby and I quite like Henry. I think Gordon's always got a spot in my heart. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about what my favorite character is. Like, I've got quite a variety of them. Like, I've kind of got like a one of every railway type thing. Like, I think it's Gordon for the NWR. I think it's I think it's Mike for the Arsdale, Duke for the Mid-Sodor, I think it's Duncan for the Skarloey, Patrick, Lord Harry, whatever his name is, from the Coley Fell. And yeah, that's pretty much. And I think probably Percy from the Far Cry branch, because his whole dynamic is very funny on how he always seems to be getting into every single problem imaginable. And probably Bill and Ben from the Brendan branch. But yeah, at the museum there was actually a zero. Like they actually managed to capture this zero and actually show it on display. Like, that's a fascinating aircraft. And some old-fashioned murals. And then of course a Spitfire. There always has to be a Spitfire. It's not a museum without one. And this one was a fully intact, able to slightly work Spitfire engine. At Catalogue upon 3617 asked, thoughts on the Brenner era? I think that the Sharon Miller era was a bit of a low point, and I think that the Brenner era definitely did what it should have intended to do. Like I think it had some rocky parts, but it's what probably people think of when they think of like a good kids show. Like it was aimed properly for like the 7 to 11 range of things. Like it's not exactly like fully childish. It's still got like some humor that's a little bit too childish in my opinion, but again, I'm not the target audience. I never was the target audience. You know, and it teaches some good morals, and it does actually, it feels like a good revival of the series. I think the Sharon Miller era was definitely for before 7-year-olds, and it didn't really feel cohesive and connected as much. But the Brenner era was kind of like a more solid 7 to 11 range, and it's like some parents could watch it. You know, I have actually seen some of the episodes, and I haven't actually like cringed or looked away or was like, oh, this thing's a little bit embarrassing type thing. This photo here is of Edmund Hillary and his ice axe that he actually used to climb up Mount Everest. Like, this is the axe. So that's pretty neat. And this was the Auckland War Museum from the outside view with the cenotaph that they do the Anzac commemorations of, and I think it's very fascinating how this side looks completely different to the other side. Also had the Auckland Art Gallery, yet more photos of the Sky Tower. Now this at Motat, the other side of it, because Motat is actually on 2 separate sites. This at the Aviation Hall, wow. That is a Lancaster bomber. A Lancaster bomber. You don't really see these Lancaster bombers anywhere because most of them were scrapped or destroyed. Oh, I see the Scottish Spotter. Do you watch Unlucky Tug? Yes, I do actually. Like, I typically watch most of the videos. I think some of them I kind of slightly skip. Like, I think the Daisy one, like, I don't really, I think, like, just the Daisy discrepancy, I think that's the only one that I've ever, like, really skipped, because that was, actually, I'm going to switch up. Can this chair stop squeaking? The Unlucky Tug. Which one have I on? Unlucky Tug. So pretty much what, like I watched quite a few of these ones. I think the segments inside the Sodel's Finest ones, I think they're really good and really well edited. But me personally, I do sometimes skip some of them because I kind of want to know the complete history of. I didn't really come to watch a segment of. Like, I think that is a great video, you know, 20 minutes of a Daisy story completely full and set. I think that is really great. But I don't know, like, I think it slightly interrupts the flow of it a bit. But yeah, like, you know, like Thomas's Odyssey, music of Thomas's Odyssey, all that stuff. But I think, like, Sidetracked, that's a really great series. I hope that continues. The Pilot Explained, like, Sidetracked, that's great. Tugs Trains is always great. The 4 Idiots watch almost every Christmas Thomas episode. There's at Thomas's animal arc at the start that had me howling. That was the funniest thing ever. Oh, we got like a double question here from Catella upon 3617. Do you feel like a darker, more adult-like Thomas show, perhaps some censored swearing and more physical fights? Do you think that could work? And do you think Thomas would be able to take more serious again if that were to come out? I think yes and no. I think it would work, but at the same time, you don't want to go overboard. Like, I think Stories of Sodor is a great example of a more adult, well, it's not really an adult type show, but it is one that, like, the Indians and humans fight a bit more. There is a bit more swearing involved in it. I think there's a little too much swearing, because if you do notice it, like, in season 4, well, before season 4, there's not really that much swearing, but yet in season 5, there's a bit more, like, F's, S's, B's, C's. There's quite a lot more of them. And, like, I don't think it really works well, because, again, you have to realize that they are talking trains. Like, I think you can explore some more adult themes. Like, I don't know, like, some of the books, like, I think the Enterprising Engine story, Bluebells of England, I think that was the most adult that they ever really got with this series, and I think I can see why they never really wanted to do that again, because it is a little bit depressing, you know, considering that it is, what's it, like, they're basically getting scrapped. Oh my, okay, what? Okay, I'm gonna go fix this chair real quick. I'll just go on mute for about a minute. Okay, so that was less than a minute. That was only about 10 seconds, but we'll continue. I think Thomas wouldn't be able to be taken seriously, though, if a darker themed thing ever came out, because that's the problem, is that stuff like Project G1, Shed 17, probably, like, Transformers, not Transformers, what's it? It's, Postman vs. Train? Yeah, Man vs. Train full series, like, that, it was a good thing at, like, the start of it, because it was kind of funny, but then it kind of just got, like, way too over the top. Like, what do you mean they go to hell and fight Postman Pat as a demon, and they're all, like, what, like, there's even just looking at that, like, what do you mean they go to hell? Like, at least the first one's kind of, like, a little bit funny. I don't know, that's the problem. You can't really go too dark, because if it goes too dark, it'll be just a laughing stock, but you can't go too comically funny, or else it just becomes not wanting to be watched. Like, I think All Engines Go is way too overhated, but I can definitely see why it wasn't a great idea. It probably never was a great idea. But it was at least something new, because Brother was not working. Okay, yeah, we'll finish up all of our photos, then we'll do more Q&As. Lancaster Bomber, the Mosquito from Warbears over Wanaka. This is a different one now, from a different POV. Some more planes. Now this one was a ginormous behemoth. Basically, Auckland used to do it that they actually, before the airport was there, they used to have planes land from Australia right on the waterfront. And so these pontoons here, you'd land and then you'd go over and then you'd exit out and then you'd be like, oh, welcome to Auckland. Like, you used to fly around in these. In fact, this one was the big one. What's that, Aotearoa? Now this one was the behemoth of the behemoth, but not as much as the Spruce Goose. I think you might know this. You might know the Spruce Goose. Howard Hughes. Yeah, the Spruce Goose. The Spruce Goose was such a horrendous idea, but I think I can oddly see exactly what it was meaning. Like, what do you mean there was 8 engines and it was ginormous? Like, I don't think there's a true set of scale in this image to tell you how large it was. Except, of course, I think this one. Wow, that is large. But yeah, so that one's just a more scaled down version of it. But yeah, this was one of the more, this is like the teal, aka the one that used to be before Air New Zealand. I can't remember what teal stands for. I think it may have been like Trans-European Airlines something. I can't remember what they are sometimes. There's too many acronyms. Some more views, some things. Oh yeah, and these are some videos of trams that are up on the channel in the short format. This was going out to Devonport, and they've got a little bit of an Army Navy thing. Now this was a great photo I took. You've got the Auckland Bridge, no, not Auckland. You've got the Auckland Sky Tower there. You've got the peaceful suburb of Devonport there. Because yeah, Devonport's a little bit of an oddball, because it was a place that they thought that the Japanese were going to Oh. That Scottish spotter. Can I call you Unk because you're 27? Am I 27? Wait, when have I ever said that I was 27? Wait, I'm confused. Going back a little bit, basically they thought that the Japanese were going to invade Auckland because Auckland was like one of the major cities of New Zealand if they were going to invade. So they had this escarpment out here with guns ready, like just in case the Japanese warships came in through here. As we've got the complex machinery, because these were hidden guns. Like they could collapse all the way back down. According to Google. What? No, that's not it. Wait. Where's my... Oh wait, is it in the AI mode? Is it? I don't quite know, honestly. Sometimes the AI stuff can be this really, really awkward and finicky. Maybe it's on Bing. No, I don't quite seem to find it. I mean, I know definitely probably what you are talking about though, because the AI stuff can be quite annoying sometimes. Pigeon. Little wee boat. And as we go out back across the harbour, that was the Auckland Ferry Terminal. Quite a fancy little building that. Spark Arena next to quite a nice little wee park. Now that was the old Auckland rail station. Notice how it's kind of got the same kind of architecture as the Wellington train station, but has since been turned into an apartment type building. But yeah, the inside of it, very, very fancy. Some more views, and of course, the Sky Tower. Oh yeah, I think these were budgies. I think they're like the literally red-headed budgies, and it was just crazy because you never really see budgies out in the wild, so to speak. Oh, this was one of the greatest. This is a great photo that I took unironically because you can like it's got the reflection. Like I think it's one of my favorite photos. I think I'm gonna favorite that one. Oop. More Harbour Bridge. Oh yeah, here is what's known as Wayne Brown, like Mayor Wayne Brown's pool, which basically it's a little wee pool that you can just basically swim around in the harbour, but not actually swim around in the harbour with the boats. And I think it's a really great idea, and considering that we were currently in a heat wave about 3 days ago, I'd say it was a pretty good idea. Granted, it probably cost way too much, but to be fair, everything in New Zealand costs way too much. A no Phoenix zone, of course, because Auckland AFC and the Phoenix are not fans. Oh yeah, this is we watched 2012 in the cinema, not in the cinema, like in the hotel room that night, and I realized that the character like JC was the limo driver for like the rich Russian and all that, and that's the reason why the whole group of like 12 of them are trying to get to the arcs at the end of the movie. And it is so convoluted, it just didn't make any sense at all. But yeah, another breakfast in the morning. More Sky Tower. Pretty tall, very tall building actually. I think it's 328 meters I think on the top of my head. And apparently it's like the tallest freestanding structure in the southern hemisphere, although there's likely changed since then, but it's not really a hard mark to beat. But yeah, I will like to say though, it apparently costs like $52 to go from the base here all the way up to the observation area there. $52. That's criminal. Like hell, I was talking with my dad like earlier today actually. Well, actually no, not earlier today, like earlier this week. And he said that when we went up there when we were younger, like about 10 years ago, for 4 of us, it was $40. And even when adjusted to like base inflation or whatever, that would be an adult fare of like $25. Not 50. It's just criminal. Oh, a little wee propeller. Some old-fashioned things. Some turtle shells. Oh yeah, this is a little wee fun thing. I think if I ever come up with some friends, I think we'll try and do this because this was because the America's Cup, they've got things called catamarans, and so you've kind of got to get like 4 people. Like one's a skipper, which basically they turn the wheel. One has to be that. One has to do that. It's all quite fascinating stuff. But I think Auckland is definitely like a town. It's definitely a place that like I'd like, but I would not want to stay there. Oh, this is a really detailed model of a ship that sank after it got struck by a few mines, and is just all the way down. Oh yeah, this photo here, the reason why I took this is because in here is Marky Mark Wahlberg's Wahlburgers place. And also because of all these fancy little buildings here. I never went to Wahlburgers, but maybe I might next time I go around. Oh my god, it's guys, oh my god. Oh my god. It's a thing from One Piece. Nah, I'm just joking, it's the thing from Hatsune Miku. I don't know why my friends all think that I'm like the biggest Hatsune Miku fans. I don't know where they got this from. But yeah, of course as we were going out, we got some Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, this I have a story to tell for this. We started at gate 33 on our flight out, but you wanna know what happened? They said that the people at gate 21, their provisions weren't there, so they sent everyone from gate 33 to gate 21, and everyone from gate 21 to gate 33. Right? But then, get this, and the reason why we're on this flight here back at gate 33, they then said that some people didn't show for the gate 33 flight, so anyone who wanted to get onto that one, which both of them were going back home, just one left 15 minutes before the other, they said, does anyone want to volunteer to go onto the other flight? And so me and my mum got on it, we got onto the plane, we were ready to depart, when all of a sudden, lightning and thunder in the heavens opened up. And so we were stuck on that plane for about 30 minutes before we actually took off. It was just so funny, like they had to give us out all these fancy little things to keep us pacified. But once we finally got going, we were going well. And that's a little wee farewell spit that's at the top of the South Island, which unfortunately recently some whales got stranded there. Quite unfortunate. As we come back over the Waimax, and now we're back there. Alright, I think we're gonna go now to general comments, I think. Published. Let's just check what our held comments are first. That's just a playlist. Response status. Mentions? Wait, when was I mentioned in a post by you, Thomas Romanian fan? Oh yeah. Alright, sorry, I've just got to figure out, because I know, fuck. Filter, contains questions. Alright, we'll just go from the bottom, and we'll make our way back up. Okay, so, this is one from one of the older T1E2H3 timeline, and it was basically about what happened to Lady in the Magic Railway after Diesel 10 left. And I think the Magic Railway still exists, but just Diesel 10 left, and they had to then fix the viaducts that Diesel 10 then crashed off of. Turbo Brank I can't pronounce that sometimes. Can I make one too? You can always make one. He always asks if you can make one, but you can always make one. Next thing you talk a little slower, it's hard to understand you in parts. I 100% agree. That video was 20 minutes, and yet I was able to expand it out to 2 hours. Not 2 hours, an hour 23. But yeah, I do have to find a way to start talking slower. It's just that when I talk slower, my voice gets quite deeper and it's hard to hear. But when I talk a bit faster, it's easier to understand. See a timeline for Enterprising Engine 93. I think I would do an Enterprising Engine 93 timeline. It is in the video ideas list. It is down here somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, that one here. But the thing is that the Enterprising Engine 93 timeline, I know that Self-Fulfilling Prophecy has not actually come out yet. And in Thomas and the Fortune Teller, there was a scene where there's like he's having like a premonition thing, like a vision of the future, and then he sees ahead, and then there's things like planes crashing and Frederick Aura doing stuff, and that's very clearly the Self-Fulfilling Prophecy. It's meant to be like a mini special thing. E93 has actually said something about it being like a 5-part special, but that has not been done yet, so I can't really make it yet. Because if you notice, I'll go to the channel. Oh, I swear I clicked that. If I go to the actual channel itself, and if we go even through to playlists, no. Okay, so note. That one is episode 61, right? Episode 61. Yet if we go to season 2, for some reason it ends at 53. So there are technically 7 missing episodes. So who knows where we actually are in terms of the timeline? Like I think even if I just search it up, let me just search it up. Is there a number 54? There isn't. There isn't a number 54. All episodes Enterprising Engines, which are my PC. We've got Whistle Tours. We've got all of these ones that all kind of like, you know, kind of a little bit all over the place. But yet when we go all the way down, it jumps from season 53 to 61. Hence why I probably will do one in the future, but I have to wait until there is actually a thing to show. Can I react to this? Yeah, you can always react to my videos so long as you actually give me credit for them, you know, that makes sense. Why is the max quality for the video 360p? Quite frankly, because I record that with my computer and that was not great. Will you do a timeline for my version of season 6 after a movie is made? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't really want to do like individual like small creators. I mean, I would, but it just depends, you know. Sometimes it depends. What's your opinions on season 6 and did it improve from season 5? Oh, we're just gonna jump back a bit. Catalogue upon 3617 asked, if you don't mind asking, what would you consider your favorite video on your channel? I think the Stories of Sodal timeline. I think actually let's jump back to my main video. I think in terms of videos that I've made, I think my Stories of Sodal timeline I think was like my best one. Like, that was my one that like I felt like had everything there. And I'd also like to point out that the Stories of Sodal timeline, it always started in the 16:9 aspect ratio, so that's why the page is mostly full whenever I have everything. Meanwhile, if we jump back up to to the Full World in the Wester timeline, some of his earlier videos are stuck in the 4:3 aspect, so that's why the bars kind of change a lot during the video. But I think the World in the Wester timeline I was very happy with, but I think my favorite one was the T1E2H3 timeline, because I think that had everything that I hoped to want in a video. Actually, I think I had all the. Oh, that's interesting. I had all the dates and such at the bottom of it, rather than on the bottom left. Oh, I forgot about that. But yeah, the T1E283 timeline video, I think that was my favorite one to
This video can
because yeah, like it was just far more complete. Like I felt like I was telling a complete story. You know, I had prequels, like I had also chapters. Like that's when I started doing proper chapters and such. I had little wee jokes. I had little wee moments. Like I think it was the one where I kind of figured out the formula for doing an actual timeline video in the future. Because I think the Stories of Sodal timeline, I basically just reread the script that I made of the Stories of Sodal timeline. Meanwhile, the engines, like the T1E283 timeline, I had to start this from scratch. Like the original the original Google Doc was 5 pages. The new one was about 40 something. But yeah, like I think it was definitely like the best thing that I could ever have made, and I think if I ever do something ever again, I will try and do more of these, because season 5, you know, season 5 of Most Famous Engine, it just felt complete. It just felt complete in exactly what one would expect to hope. Oop. What was that? What was that? This video was delayed for a few weeks. Oh yeah. Alright, that's when I wanted to do like I did a thing at the very end of how like I was like, oh, I'm gonna be doing like another video soon, but then I don't think I ever did a new video later on. Oh yeah, I decided to do that the Hogwarts Express video, but that one just didn't really flow well. I think I liked it, but I don't really think it's a great video. We're just gonna jump back to a comment now, basically about how my opinions on season 6. I think season 6 was better than season 5, but I think Informant was still the weakest episode because that one had basically nothing going on for it. It was boring. Why is half the comments from some bro saying single digit gibberish? Honestly, I don't know what. Like, there was a guy who just started spamming such. Like when the video first came out, he stopped, but it was very weird. I'm sorry, but his when my series is over, would you like to make to it? It's not too complicated, but still like 5 to 10 minutes. I think if a series is over, I think I would do a timeline if that's what the question is meaning. But yeah, I think I'd have to consider it. Maybe the reason Godred was still haunting Coldie Fell was that Alfred was sucked into the kettle. He forced Godred out. Ooh, actually, that is a great theory actually, because I think if I go back to the timeline, I think I stated that
this video contains
Revenge of the Ghost Train, which I think I had it as its own individual section. Where did I have it? Oh yeah, 1995, and I stated that to be not canon because he himself said it not to be canon. But the fact that what was it, the Slopes of Coldie Fell, 1998? Actually, I think that's a pretty good theory actually, that he was forced out there when Alfred was sucked into the kettle. That probably is actually maybe even canon. Who knows? Alright, as far as I can tell, it's an early. Oh yeah, this was when Harold was bombing the boulder. Where's it? Yeah, this here, like he bombed the boulder with this like World War II, what does he say? Early World War II German or Italian bomb. But yeah, where did they get the bomb from? Like I think that is a very fascinating question to ask. Like maybe Harwick? Who knows? Can you cover the Engines Arrival series, please? I think the Engines Arrival thing by a fan of Hero, I think I would definitely want to tackle that someday. I think I might wait a little while for that. Maybe I'll give it like a year or two, because I think it's slowed down a little bit, that channel. Let me see if I can find it. Look, I think he's done very well his Engine Arrival such. Where's the main? video. Here it is. So I got ourselves like what, See, I find it very fascinating as well, the format of this, on how it went from Toby to Thomas, then to Edward, and then all the way through the numbers. Then Stanley, and then Merlin. I think it's very fascinating how he has pretty good reason inside of the episodes about why Jeffrey appears, why Eric appears, you know, why all these fellas appear. Like, they're pretty good episodes, and I think his face meshing stuff that he does is actually pretty good. And then NXKR Scarlowy, and then Roger. But yeah, I think we would wait for like maybe like 3 to 4 more of them, maybe 5 of them. Then we can maybe start thinking about that. Why didn't we get a re-release of the Chris books in the present day? I don't actually know why we didn't get a re-release of the Chris books. Like, you go to a bookshop sometimes and you do see the Chris, like not the Chris, but the Wilbur Audrey stuff on the shelf. But you don't actually see the Chris stuff. And it's a little bit odd about because they could, in theory, you know, I don't know how to describe it. They could, in theory, re-release them. But I don't know, man. I just don't know. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna probably skip past some of the Soda Productions ones because that, quite frankly, is a little bit of a... It's quite frankly a little bit of a thing that I don't really, like, want to talk about. Also, yeah, when you say Soda Arrival, do you mean Engine Arrival? Yeah, I know it's like Engine Arrival. But yeah, we'll skip the Soda Productions one because it kind of does. That video, I kind of just wanted to make that just because he's just way too smug, Soda Productions, and he's just quite frankly being a very bad influence on everyone. And he just keeps trying to do clickbait, even though and it's not working most of the time. His 7K subscriber channel barely even gets in like 3K views. And it's like, that's what happens when you subbot. Can anyone tell me in what order should I watch the series of T2283? See, I have 2 different viewings of it. I have it that you watch NWR Origins, then you watch it in timeline order. But then there's also chronological order. Like, you watch Season 1, then Season 2, then NWR Origins, then 3, then that. AKA the leapfrogging method. Like, when, like, you actually release the series and such. Oh, yeah, Manx. Yeah, because, Manx Island Rescue is meant to be, like, one of the specials that Wild and the Wester is currently making. I don't know where I saw that thing. I think it might have been from Blue Sky. But, yeah, like, Manx Island Rescue, that'll eventually be made sometime. We'll run that. Isn't the lake lightly irradiated with copper? Oh, I think that one was, what was that coming from? That was from... No, not that one. Oh, no, we're not seeing that. No, we're not watching that video. Wrong video. This video. The Chris Audrey stuff. Why Chris Audrey is underrated. The prologue. Oh yeah, the lake. Yeah, like, okay, it's a good question about whether is the lake irradiated with copper. I don't think it is. It probably is in some form of the canon, but my point is that it's maybe 100 meters or so, yet the boys are all thirsty and like dying of thirst or whatever and need Duncan to bring over like soda pop. But it doesn't make much sense because soda pop doesn't actually, like, because, you know, it's like drinking sparkling water. Sparkling water does not quench thirst, it just disappears immediately. Although, to be fair, I haven't had soda pop because I'm not really a soda pop type person. But yeah, like, I think you could have drank from it. Probably not because it's not like flowing water, but who knows. My point is actually, you're a scoutmaster. How do you not think to have at least some bit of water for the boys, you know? You're going to be pitching up tents and such. Is there not a tap somewhere near the line? Obviously, this is unironically a really great image. I really like side profiles of the engine sometimes. But I do think that they should have changed around the stories. Like, Duncan should have got trapped in the brambles, and then Peter Sam should have been the one to go help the boys, because that just seems more in time for them, because Duncan would be like, oh, I'm not gonna get stuck in the brambles, and he does. Oh yeah. This is when I decided to do a little bit of a thing because yeah, Thomas goes from Barrow to York. Probably stops at Carnforth based upon like what we see in the Discord, and probably at Skipton. But it's a little odd, you know what I mean? Because he just kind of goes there with not really a tender, so to speak. He kind of just goes there in general. Also, yeah, versus who wins? I think Murphy always wins. Murphy's the go. There was something else. Oh yeah, this is something else I want to talk about. What? If you can see there with Peter Sam's valve gear, that is not Peter Sam's valve gear. That is Skarloey. That someone told him that Skarloey was the person, but then at the last minute he was told Peter Sam. At least that's my theory, at least, because there's no way. There's no way. Alright, and I think the final question here. Why is Murdoch scared? Because in Stories of Sodor, engines with faces only get scrapped with consent. I think he was just kind of more scared about like not really being able to be useful. I don't know, it's not really explained well in canon. Because he kind of just says, oh, I want to prove myself or else I'll be like on the scrappers heap or something. Why would you be on the scrappers heap? You know, because the non-faceless vehicles in Stories of Sodor have free things when they pass. You know, black water, preservation, or what was the other one? Was it static display? No, what were the free options given to a non-faceless vehicle? But that's why I'm searching this up. Let's see if the wiki will help. Non-faceless vehicles concept? Okay, relocation, retirement, or the final firing. That's what it is. Yep, that's what it was. I knew it was something, but I couldn't remember on the top of my head. Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like, I didn't think he would be forced into retirement, but I don't know. Like, the 9Fs, you know, I think when was it? Just wait one moment. I just need to check something. What year was it? I can't remember the years on the top of my head. Like, I do sometimes go back and watch my own videos just so I can remember things. Yes. Okay, we're just gonna refresh that. We're gonna get rid of the ads.
Disclaimer. This video contains spoilers for the...
Where's... Murdoch. 1956. Yeah, wait, yeah. No, let me... I think I'm gonna just double check the wiki because sometimes... By the way, the wiki apparently closed but then got reopened a while back. Personality. Fulton 48. I don't know, maybe I must have pulled something. Maybe I just must have like not heard something correctly in the thing. I don't actually know. So what, modernization? Go into that. We'll see, because I think that's one of the other things as well. It's actually fascinating how on the Stories of Sodor wiki, they've got kind of all the episodes laid out very, very in depth. Okay, wait, so it's saying that that if Diesel's start going to service, the amount of force from environment and the steam locomotive may not prove that he's... I don't know, it's all just a little bit of an interesting thing that... and it's not really defined well, so to speak. Oh, we're getting there. Let's see. Let's look at the Social Blade stuff. I want to look at the Social Blade stuff. But yeah, I definitely think that my Wild in the West of Thailand video was definitely a great push to get over that 1,000 subscriber mark. And apparently this is what's projected if I just do nothing and just let the channel go. I remember looking at this actually when I was doing the Railway Series stuff. I saw this graph go down. Like, I saw that the subscriber mark actually went down, and I was like, what? Like, it absolutely confused me at the time. But no, probably it was for like another different reason, and it was a bit odd. A bit odd. Oh yeah, that's... oh yeah, oh yeah, we've kind of just jumped over the place. Yeah, back to the thing about apparently like how like, oh, the plan for a certain character returning. I still think that Thomas is probably dead. Probably, you know, he was shown pretty much dead. Like, if he's able to return, good for him, but at the current moment he is dead, and I'll make a thing if he is not dead. Huh. Prediction is that both him and Regional would end up at Barry Island Scrapyard. Wait a second, is this person onto something? They were. How did they know? That was from 2 months ago. The tragedy thing is from about like a month and like 3 weeks ago. Huh, how did they know? But yeah, so... yeah, so many comments do the whole, like, say, like, oh, World War II started in 1914. I know. I messed up twice, apparently, somehow. Like, in the original video that I made, I said it, and then I was like, okay, this time I'm not going to say it. And I said it. And it was just so annoying. My Steam ban. Well, the year span in that season would be 1968 to 1979, 75. Yeah, no, not really that. I think the season 8 of Stories of Soda, I think would be very interesting if it took place like over more years. I think it is very fascinating though that the best episode of season 7 was like 20 minutes. Like, I find that very fascinating. Like, if I actually go back to the complete Victor Tanzig. Like, if I go back to the Victor Tanzig thing, like, there's a thing that I've actually noticed this, and some people have actually also noticed this as well. And I do have a point of this when the Stories of Soda season 7 thing. You notice that all these episodes are about like 20 minutes roughly. Some of them are like the specials are like 30 minutes. You know, 20 minutes. But that one, like, that was 30 minutes. Like, wow. It's because that 20 minutes is the perfect format to being, like, you know, it gives you a lot of stuff. Yet, even then, like, the SCPs of Sodor, that was still like 15 minutes each. But then we get into season 5, you know, that's 10 minutes. That's 12 minutes, 13, 12, 15. Like, that flew by, like, way too fast. Whole vandalism, Jeffrey's death is just done, like, way too fast. You know, he's just pulling along and he just crashes. Like, what? And then, 13, 16, 17. Again, they're all very short, and like they don't really expand much to the world and the lore. But yet this one that had 20 minutes to it, and we're gonna be in a bit of a spoilers category for the next few moments. You should have seen Story of Sodor, season 7. But there is the redemption name has a double meaning to it. And I think it's very fascinating about the ending of it. I'm not going to say much more to it because I think I'm going to explain more about it when it gets to the actual timeline. But I think it's fascinating. Because it really should not have been as good as it was, but it was really great. Troublemaker, oh that was great. That wasn't great. I don't really want to. Can I pull up my thing? I'm gonna try to pull up the ranking graph if I still have it somewhere.
Fancy Feast. More ways to show your love.
YouTube is just
With so
bad
many
now
delicious
for ads.
recipes.
It's why? No, I didn't mean to click that. As you can tell,
In 2015,
very
it would
pro
all
at
throughout to
this.
the early leave the time. I like the fact that I've only talked in this season, and not another 10, and you can.
Yeah, you can see how there's a little bit that there's a spike, and I think in future I'd rather have done this like a lot better. But you can see how it goes quite up and up and up, up and up and up. Then it dips quite a lot. What episode was that? That was what, season 3 episode. Oh yeah, I think it was like controller or management. I think it was one of those ones. It was quite a boring episode, that one. It had some moments, and I think there was this scene in one of them where it was basically that Topham didn't like boats. I think there was some clever foreshadowing, but it didn't really contribute much to it. Then you got season 4, season 4B. Then you had the SCPs of Soda, which I still think is probably one of the best things that Victor has made personally. Then you got season 5. Then season 6 was a bit of a fall off. Season 6 as well. I really, really, really never liked how what was it? In Recovery. Let's actually do a quick bit of math.
Excuse me of what Sean.
Okay. So let's just see here. At 5 minutes, he begins to see Thomas. They talk around. It looks as though it's been 24 hours, maybe 24 hours. Okay, we're going into another day. Actually, no, we go back. Wait, I can't quite tell what the time frame is, but basically they just try to just tell him, get over the death of your friend. All right, that's perfectly cool then. Like, it is just not a great... It's not great at all, my person. Like, he sees Thomas, he freaks out because he's like, ah, my dead friend. Your dead friend that you've known for about 34 years at this point. And yet they just tell him to get over it. And he gets over it. What? It just doesn't make sense at all. Anyways, let's... Yeah, I really like that my top videos are these. I think I'm glad that the timeline remastered version is slowly overtaking the old version, because the old version was pretty crap. I think I've still got the Google Slides for it. Hold up. Because if I still got the slideshow for it, I think that'd be really funny. Where is it? Recent. Click recent. I've got things that I have to do for lots of friends and such. Slides. Let's go to slides. Oh no, why did I have untitled presentation? Oh, that was for a video that I never made. Oh, there's a mongrel dog out there. Yeah, Yeah, some behind the scenes stuff right now. I'm gonna use this one as the example. I'm not proud of it. On my old computer, I realized that you could do some screen recording, so I decided to set up a Google slideshow and basically have a script that said slide. So when I would come to it, I'd record it, then I would go to it, then I'd just move through it. But the thing is that I would record it on a very specific window. Like I'd screen share over that and then record it. Actually, no, I remember what I did. I would full screen it and then record this. But you have to realize that this was on an old computer, so these photos were not high quality back then. And I still hold the opinion that the story of the End of the Solar Timeline does have quite a bit of overlap between the two series. You know, here that comes into a point about the 1990s, whatever. Back to what? Yeah, I mean, yeah, like he definitely. I think Percy did get therapy to get better, but I still think that in the context of it, they kind of just say like he's basically like, oh, you see Thomas? Yeah. Well, don't see Thomas. Okay. And then Thomas just fades away like a poof of dust. Like that's not really what happens, but that's kind of like what technically kind of happens, and it doesn't feel right. You know, like he gets therapy and he does get better, but it doesn't. I don't know, man. It just doesn't sit right. Also, point of note, the lighting in like some of the Victor Tanzig shots of like the dark stuff is not great. I will say this for all of Victor Tanzig, I do like the natural lighting that he does, and how like he doesn't really change the lighting and like the Train Z stuff.
It's a laugh. You're completely
because like I'm of the opinion that the 2D face models still look pretty good in the new lighting. Like anyone who says it on Twitter is just trying to get likes. Like this is still pretty good lighting. This is still pretty good quality shot work. But lighting at night in Train Z absolutely sucks. Hence why, in one of my videos, in the video that I made of like the Flying Kipper, I tried my hardest to make it so you could actually see everything, but it's still night. But I think I went a little too heavy with some of the lighting effects in trains because I made the water bright blue like this. But I think in future I would 100% change that. But yeah, I think I should have cut this shot like maybe like 5 seconds. But yeah, it's just the fact that it builds up, and then all of a sudden you crash. And then you jump forward through that. And I think it was a pretty good shot. I think I should have given him some characters in this shot. But I think overall, if I were to do this again, like I think this is still a pretty good thing. I'm surprised that people don't like use a shot like this sometimes. Where did I put that shot in? Yeah, like this. It's like that's kind of majestic. I don't know, man. There's just so much stuff there. There's so much stuff that I have to keep track of. Like I think as well as we go back into this, I'm currently got like 3 videos like currently like ongoing. I probably might not do that ranking video of like the film stuff because that video is like 40 minutes. That would take me at least a few weeks. But at the current moment, I'm currently off of uni for about like 4 or 5 months. So I've only got work in the weekends, so I can actually work on videos during the main week. So yeah, that'll be interesting and such. I see someone did a comment. Mini. Oh no way! I'm just looking at some of my emails real quick because I've got it on my phone at the same time. Apparently, they did a night train at Wicker Pass, and apparently, one of the gala trains is apparently not great. Like apparently, like the things at the end of it. Oh, yeah, the unforeseen consequences. Oh, by Nico's trains. Oh, that stuff's. That was great. I remember seeing that. Yeah, where's it? Yeah, the end of the beginning. Okay, I didn't think the end of the beginning was, I don't know, it was alright, but I think unforeseen consequences. That was crazy. Like I'm not gonna show most of it. I'm gonna try like get up to like, but I think like it is definitely crazy. Like I think it's definitely, he's built it up, and I think that is the most fascinating part of it, is that there's 3 parts to this story. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, banishing the curse. There's a curse of a faceless, and I know some people don't like the term faceless, but I think the term faceless does make sense in context. But yeah, like Nico Strain's, like, you know, faceless, then unforeseen consequences, then the end of the beginning. Like, I think that's a very fascinating 3-part structure. Oh, I'm Sodal then and now. Let me search that up. Because I probably haven't. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Sodal then and now. I don't think I've seen this one. I don't know, I've never really watched much of like Tomy Trackmaster type content like this. Like, I don't know why I do actually have quite a lot of series that I do have to watch eventually. Like this one looks pretty good. I think the one that I've seen in terms of like Tomy Trackmaster was NWR 58. Yeah, NWR 58 with stories from Sodor and the Norenby Spectre. That was a pretty good episode. And what was it? Diesel D199. Yeah, there was a question that I got a while back, which is basically, would I ever do a D199, you know, thing? I don't think I would. Notably for the fact that, which by the way, why is there, what? I think playlists, they need to be fixed. Also, I do find it very funny how like 114 million views, 59 million views. Yeah, no wonder you've got 1.3 million subscribers. He must be getting like just a lot of money from these videos. Like, they're crazy. But I think I've kind of gone a little bit off the rails here. Basically, like the Tomy stuff, it's kind of interesting. Like, I like these 3D modeled things because it's got quite a lot of stuff with it. But I never really got into like general type things. I think I would add it to the list. But yeah, like again, it's on the list. You know, what's the thing from Captain America Winter Soldier where he like writes down the list? But yeah, like I've seen these. Oh, were there more? Oh yeah, there were more episodes. Yeah. The hero's name. 20 episodes. I don't remember there being 20 episodes, but sure, there's 20 episodes. Oh yeah, LD's Pursuit. I remember that. Yeah, some of these episodes were from a while back. I can't remember what my first one was that I saw. I think it was. Oh wait. Oh, I think I remember what the context was for this. I think it was Victor Tanzig made a video short thing which is basically a parody of Thomas Joins the Navy, and so he linked that in his comments, and then I went to that and I was like, oh, Victor Tanzig recommended him, I'll go watch. I came here and I was like, huh, some of this ain't half bad, and then I stayed and I watched, and then I'm still subscribed. Yeah, I'm still subscribed. But I find it fascinating. I do always find it very funny whenever these Gordon Takes a Tumble things always seem to do like a lot of views. Like, I think it's just, no, not Thomas, easy. Thomas 1, Edward 2, Henry 3. Like, if I'm gonna go to 2 on E2H3 here, why is it that it's the Gordon episodes always do a lot? Like, what do you mean Gordon takes a dip and Thomas in the Rumors? Why are they, you know, like, why are they several million view type things? Like, what is it about Gordon? You know, Gordon takes a tumble and all that. Ooh. I'm a little bit sleep deprived at the moment. I might continue here for maybe half an hour more, but then I might be heading off. I think with we've figured out a pattern for this and how this works, but I think I'd have to find something more in future to do. But from the looks of the stream that I have on my other monitor, we are quite still high quality, although to be fair, that's on minimized screen, so I'm not certain if that's translating well to you guys. But yeah, let me see. But yeah, we've got quite a good amount of videos. I can't believe that I decided to do the Railway series readings. I don't know why I did that, but I decided to do it anyways. But I think a very fascinating point of note is that like the Wilbur stuff got to like 16 minutes at points, but then all the Chris stuff was like 12 minutes. Well, I'm not certain if I should watch that on stream. I do know what you're talking about, like the Sodor retold and such, but I don't know. I think I'd have to watch the Sodor retold stuff again. I fell off from it a little bit, like I think I watched season 1 and 2 retold, but I think I'd have to watch these ones later. It's just that there. Oh, my Wi-Fi's bugging. I don't know, the Sodor shorts, the Sodor retolds, some of the stuff doesn't really apply, like the Sodor answers. Like, I don't know, I'd consider it if I was bored and I decided to watch it. But yeah, I don't quite want to watch it on stream just yet. I think I'd have to wait a little bit until I can actually figure out if desktop audio. Wait, has desktop audio actually been coming through this whole time? Has it? I don't quite know. Wait. I was gonna test something.
Shop amazing deals for your home at the Farmer's Home Sale. On now.
One evening, the engine...
I'm gonna play that real quick, and I'll answer the question if I can turn off on. What are your thoughts on Tugs? Would a continuation reboot would have worked? I don't think a continuation would have worked. I think Tugs is a very great model series, but I don't think it would have been able to have been continued much. There's only so much you can do with boats. Oh, wait a minute. Has it actually been working this whole time? Oh my god, I never actually realized. I'm so sorry, people. It's... Oh my god, I never realized how loud the volume was.
were gathered together. The Fat Controller had...
Yeah.
were gathered together. The Fat Controller had called them all here to make an announcement. I have an announcement to make, he began. We know you knocked up your secretary, sir, Gordon replied. We'll come back to that in a moment. For now, I have a letter from a little girl who lives far away. How many kids send letters these days? Shut up. It reads, Dear Engines of Sodor, please can I meet you? My friends say they would like to meet blah blah blah. I won't bore you with the rest. The TLDR is this kid is inviting all of us to a station near her house. Are we going, sir? Of course not. Who's going to pull the trains if you're not here? Then what's all this about? I also have another letter that confirms I am not the father of my secretary's child. Then who is? I don't know, and I don't think she does either. She's been ridden more times than a racehorse. Is that why you called us all here? To slut-shame the woman? Yes. His blunt reply left the engines in stunned silence. A profound awkwardness settled over the group, and they were desperate for something to break it. Daisy! Sorry.
Alright, so I never actually realized that I've actually been playing the audio this whole time. I thought it was all quiet and such. Okay, yeah. So things are a little bit delayed. So I can't. I didn't even click on ABC News. But yeah, the sort of retold. I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit fun. I kind of like dip in and out sometimes of the series. Like I'm subscribed. I let the notifications kind of pass if I don't really find them interesting. Like Crossword. I think that was a fun short. But some of the other shorts, I don't know. Some of the other shorts don't really feel fun. Like I think Victor used to have a thing on how he would make a short if there was. Like if there was an actual celebration, like if there was like an anniversary, actually yeah, let's pull up the playlist. I think there is a playlist somewhere. I'm not gonna play the things because I never actually realized that I've been playing the audio this whole time. 102 episodes, 112. Oh my god. So shorts 320. Oh no, my PC. But some of these will like to celebrate like actual kind of like anniversaries in some of these parts. You know, like 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers, some crossovers, some fun little bits, some new character introductions. You know, kind of jokey little spoilers, some references to Castle, you know, and the I am the taunting Frenchman, Sacre Bleu. But yeah, then they kind of just, like, you can tell the exact point later on when they kind of just became... When they became, like, a thing for you to post every week. Like, what's that? Like, that's 18 seconds. Do you play SCR? I'm not certain what SCR is, actually. Is it a Roblox game? Oh, Stepford Counted Railway. Oh, yes. I played some of it. I kind of stepped away from it for a little bit because I think it's a pretty good simulator. I just never really got into it so much. It also doesn't help that my computer basically, like, I don't know what they updated with it, but my computer takes like 5 hours to load in the map. Meanwhile, all the other games on Roblox don't really. So I don't really know what's happening with that. Oh. But yeah, is there anything else really to talk about today? There's not really much news. I mean, I know like the diecast engine assortment. I've seen that. Even if I think that later Gator really just should have just like released all the stuff rather than just like drip feeding it every 15 minutes. Because like now I've got like 1 billion tweets on my timeline, which is basically just like, oh my god, Rheneas, oh my god. And it's like, I mean, it's not even like a confirmation about who's actually in the upcoming 2026 TV show, if anything. In fact, I think it'd be even funnier if the show just ended up being All Legends Go, but like a new season of it, just with more narrow gauge stuff. Because it can always happen. It can always happen. That's why I never usually get my hopes up high with some of the stuff these days, because it's just like, it's not going to be more of the same. It's either more of the same or not enough of the same. Now, why is the Seven Valley Railway live? Let's go look at that. Oh, is it the rail cam? It is the live cam, but I think they're currently closed now because it's like 9 PM there. I find it fascinating, the rail cam stuff that they do, because I think that's a pretty good idea. Whew. Yeah, but yeah, I've been talking, I've been rambling for like, what's it, 2.5 hours now? How long have we been streaming? Pull that up. Pull it up. What's that? Where's the thing? Well, yeah, I've got a chat. Jeez. No, stop it. I apologize if the stream becomes all of a sudden janky. But yeah, I think my favorite, like one of my favorite videos was actually the Lost Locos of New Zealand, because that was the one that like was actually like the most fun to research, because I had a book that had like where most of the known engines were, but in quite a lot of it I actually had to go and find via Wikipedia. Like I had to actually search up the what was it, the Westfield dump site. Oh dear, I have messed it up. Again, this is the problem with the stream being like delayed like 20 seconds, is that I can't actually see when it goes wrong until it actually appears on my other screen and tells me that it's gone wrong. So apologies, hopefully it's been fixed now. But yeah, we've got all these K locomotives, like just in one site at Westfield. And we have all of these on the Beely River, Branxholme, Makanui, Oamaru. Oamaru, that one's the funniest one. Because Oamaru, you know, the F-class locomotive, F156, you know, it got like, it went out to sea. Like, it got sucked out to sea. Like, that is so funny. It shouldn't have, but it did. Whew. I think it's actually funny as well. Like I managed to actually find using the Google Map things. Like I think that was my favorite bit of research that I ever did, was that I actually had to go to Johnston Street. In fact, let's go to Johnston Street right now. Google Maps. Because I can remember roughly where it was. Where is it? My PC. Oh, something's not right with this computer today. What's not gone right? I think my Wi-Fi's just bugging. Because like when I originally searched it up, I was like, surely there's no way. Like this does not look like a place that locomotives would be residing. Yeah, which one was it? I've got to find where the rail line ended. There was a place where a rail line ends. Apologies, I know this isn't the most exciting experience in the world, but I've gone on a tangent and I need to know what has happened. We need to know. What's McLean Street? It was Whitaker Street. Yeah, it was like here. Like I think what was fascinating to me, because when you hop down into Google Maps now, there's nothing here. Actually, yeah, there is nothing here. Wait. Oh no, I've got to go back that way. August 2025, huh? See, because like there should be something here, but yet if you go to the see more dates, I think I'm in the right place. I think if we go back to 2014, and if we go back the same way, I hope I'm in the right place. Am I in the right place? Oh, I've got to go over there. See, this is the fun. This is the fun of doing this sometimes. Is that you've just got to just find things for the sake of the video. Oh, yeah, there. There. It was on this street here, on Ogle Street, apparently. Because you can't see it through that shrubbery. But if we actually go back to what day is it? Let's go back to January. if we go back to January, you can see a lot more that's around here. I think in November, not on November, February. I'm going crazy, but I know that there was more here. But yeah, like there's like the frames for the UB locomotives just were in there. Maybe they're still in there. No, none have been taken out. Whew. Oh. But you know, I've been streaming for about, what's it? About an hour, like 2 hours 40. That's about the same length as like Lord of the Rings. No, not nearly as long as Lord of the Rings. So yeah, I might head off. I think I might do another Q&A stream maybe in like a month or two. I don't know, maybe like when you know, maybe when people and such like in my household are actually back off to work and back off to school, and I can actually be home alone. Maybe I can try something different, because if the stream quality is still holding up and still going moderately well, I can try see whether I can actually try and play a game of anything. Because if I actually go into my, you guys are looking into my Steam catalog right now. Yeah, I've got Train Z. I've got some parts in there. I've got Burnout. That's not really working at the current moment, but I've had like the Wolfenstein games, Tomb Raider. I have all the I have all the Lego ones that I got from like a massive sale. Like everything that you see here I got for $50. Like, that's crazy. Got the Call of Duty game. Yeah, I've got quite a lot in my library, but not really a lot of time to do them. If by playing with users you mean like doing on Roblox, Scottish Spotter? Like any game, like on Roblox? Yeah, I could do. Oh, I think we could do Roblox games, but I think the problem is that I've heard that the chat feature has been effectively banned for anyone under the age of 18, and if you're over 18, you have to like go through like all the jump hoops of like showing your face, showing your government ID, and all of that. You know, just to be able to chat in the game, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose of like Roblox games, because you have to chat with people. Like, I think like some games like tycoon games, you don't really have to chat with people, but in games such as, for instance, I don't really know what ones are there. Let me just search up is there? Oh, there's like all the Thomas and Friends, like Thomas One Railway, like even just ones where you're just free driving forward. You know, you need to be able to chat with people to actually have some fun. Like, the only way you can really do it is to do it with a Discord server, and I would consider it. I would consider a Discord server, but I think I've just got a bit of too much on my plate at the moment. I think I would consider it when, like, if I make another stream. I think if I'm gonna make another stream, I think I'm gonna have to plan things out, so to speak. Like, I'm not just gonna go into it willy-nilly like this. Like, I had a plan with like all these photos and such, like that you see here. Like, I knew I was gonna use I knew I was gonna use all of these. That filled up like about an hour and a half. But I haven't really had much else to say except for just general comments and such, because I don't really like to hate, I just want to talk and throw as much shade on Soda Productions as I can. I think a final question, one that probably hasn't been asked, but one that I probably can answer. I think I've got an idea for a good April Fool's video, but it's not going to be a good one as in a jokey one. I think it's going to be one that I am going to bait and switch people, and all of a sudden I'm going to turn up, because Soda Productions has gotten worse. He has gotten a lot worse, but he'll eventually see the sun if he's going to act like Icarus. Actually, I think if we even just We could just go look at Roblox just now, even to see what's there. Because all my games that I typically play at the current moment are just kind of just tycoon games. Because I quite like some of the tycoon games at the moment. Yeah, but yeah, it's like, let's click your age so you can use chat. Mega car tycoon. See, it's like all these ones. It's like some of these are just like, oh yeah, and Entrenched World War One has. It's a great game, but people need to learn what attack and defend mean, and it's so bad. 92219 locomotive UK 9F. Well, now I've seen 92219. Preserve steam locomotives. Oh. Oh damn. Found a new site. I'll save that. Wow. I haven't actually seen any of the UK locomotives because I'm currently out in New Zealand at the moment. Like, I haven't actually gone to the UK. I think I'm just gonna try and wait until. See, I'm wondering about if they're going to do an Audrey event or they're going to do like an Audrey event or an Audrey extravaganza event or like a railway series event over in the Teleflin Railway. I think if I was going to go to the UK, because it is a massive go from where I live. Like, if we just go back to Auckland to, let's just go. That's why it's Teleflin? That's how you spell Teleflin. If we just go transit, no. Die. Okay, now we'll go Auckland to London then. And then click on the thing. Okay, but whatever the case is, that, you know, I've got to fly from here all the way out to London, and that's about $1,000 a single way at the moment. And so I'd have to go to London. I might just go into regular maps because I think the satellite's screwing it up. I'd have to go then from London all the way to the Teleflin Railway, which is about... I keep forgetting where it is. It's on the coast. It's on the coast. Oh, it's down. Taiwan. You know, I'd want to go there. But I think if I were to ever go to the UK solely to go to Taiwan, I think I would also try to go for a massive tour around every single place I could. You know, every single railway that I could. Iabonese and Canil? Where is... Oh, I saw it. Oh yeah, Scotland. Yeah, yeah. I want to go there someday. Like, it looks like a pretty nice railway. Like, if we look in the photos, oh, that's a nice little one. Interesting. Yeah, I 100% would want to go. Like, I think if I were to go to the UK, and in fact I had an old spreadsheet a while ago, I'm not certain if I still have access to it or not. Do I still have it? I do still have it. Do I still have access to it? That's the question. I do. This one I have from like way back in 2024, where I had every single railway as based upon the Wikipedia thing, and I only got up to about Linton and Barnstaple, and I had like an entire thing for all the prices and such, and I can't quite figure out what the total price is for a pound. Actually, no, I did like a whole bunch of calculations. I did some. It'll be that many pounds. That's about. I'm just gonna go at a base minimum and say it's about 3,300 NZD. And that's just to ride, like, because I do run I'd do one ride if it was possible, but if a day rover was available, I'd pick a day rover. That was my philosophy. Because a day rover, you know, you'd be able to go everywhere. Old Iron 23 asks, what do you think of Engine Arrival? I think Engine Arrival is actually pretty good. I think we talked about it a little earlier on, but we'll jump back to it for a brief bit. No, fan here. Oh well. I think it's very fascinating he's like how much this channel has grown. 13,000 subscribers with actual good content. Yeah, ugh, I didn't mean to click. I think the whole format of it was actually very fascinating because, let me see if I can pull it up. I find it fascinating because you got Toby starting, then Thomas, then Edward, and they're all quite high quality models. Like I think those were the Cograil ones. Then that I think they're all the Cograil models, but then they get into like, I like the 2D ones. I like that he does like the face meshing. Like he's got like a good video that I've tried to follow about how to face mesh in trains. I never quite figured it out, but I would eventually. Oh, the Strathspey, I've heard of that. Where's it? Oh wait, no, the Strath. I was gonna zoom out for a bit. Google Maps doesn't like me today. Strathspey. Oh, there it is. Oh, up there. Oh damn. Oh wait, okay, we'll go into this for this. And we'll just pan down. Oh yeah. I think the Highlands of Scotland would always be a highlight. Where's you? I'm trying to find it. There it is. There you are. Let's just wait for the Google Maps to load because it will take a little bit, and I always love how it always goes like a little bit goofy sometimes. Like it figures out the terrain well, but it does not handle well with like just general structures. But I think I would want to go to Glenfinnan, but there's also one that I'd want to go to for very weird reasons. Is it Coro? No, that's not it. No, I want. Yeah, that's the one. I forgot a U. Where is it? I've gone to maps. Pretty much this place here, Core, is out in the middle of nowhere where my mouse currently is. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's because that it only has about 2 trains a day to my knowledge. Like Cora Station, let me search it up. Like this place only gets about like 2 trains a day, just about. But I think it's more to the point that it's quite in the middle of nowhere in the way that I would want something to be in the middle of nowhere. Because it's got the wonderful hills around and it's peaceful and quiet. But you still feel like you're next to a railway that actually has at least a vehicle approaching. And I think that's fun. Wait, wait a second, is this? Okay, no, that's the old. That's Alton Hall. Oh yeah, they're doing the Harry Potter series eventually. I think that's fascinating. I think the Harry Potter series, I think if they figure out the plot holes of the book and actually make the series properly engaging, I think it'll be successful. I don't support J.K. Rowling. Like, I think I'd go search the 7 Seas if I wanted to go and watch it. but I think it would be interesting to watch it. You know, I think everyone's like dissing on it, but I think a TV series is right because I have the books at home, all sourced from secondhand stores, you know, shop local. All the books have got quite a lot of stuff that was cut from the movies. Like, you have to realize that even the first book, Chris Columbus actually had to remove so much from it, and even then, that book is like, even then, that movie and the second movie are like the longest one in the series, and they're like the shortest books as well. But yeah, another thing about Cora Station, that's the place where like they film the train spotting scenes. It's always a neato bit. But yeah, let me switch up. What's it? I think Rightwick Hall. Was it Rightwick Hall? No. Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it? I'm so confused. Was it for Harry Potter? It was for Harry Potter, wasn't it? Yeah, it was like when they repainted Rightwick Hall into that bright red livery, and so many people were like, "Oh, but it's not the period accurate." We have so many of them in BR green and BR black. I think I'm perfectly fine with there being like some sort of red livery out there, even if it's associated with Harry Potter. I think it's still interesting. I know, but again, yeah, the Hogwarts Express, I've already made a video about that, and about how like it doesn't make sense in terms of its history and how it actually like works. But I can't deny that like I'm interested for the series, you know. I just pray that they at least like get on the same production level as the original Harry Potter series, because the original Harry Potter series, the original movies, the first one came out in 2001, and the last one came out in 2011, and you have to realize that was 8 movies because they split the 7th one into another part. Which actually is kind of ironic considering about what Voldemort's whole, he had 7 but then he accidentally created 8. Like, I think there's a little bit of an ironic twist to that. But yeah, we're in interesting times at the moment, aren't we? Because I think the TV series, I think I've heard rumours that they're filming season 1 and 2 back to back, therefore they can gauge reaction and then figure out if they can continue onwards. And judging by the fact that people are quite vocally loud on Twitter, but the Universal world still gets quite a lot of visitors, I think it's not going to be a fail. It's just not going to be like, I don't know, it's either going to be a major success or it's not going to be a success. It is a 50-50 in that regard. It's not going to be like a it's not going to be like a Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings show on how it kind of was well, but then it didn't do well, or on how it kind of faltered then picked up. It's either going to be a smash hit from the gates, or it's not going to be. But yeah, I think we are in interesting times at the moment. We are in very interesting times. What's something else that we can fill in? I think I might take like a few more questions, but then I might be heading off soon. I've been talking for quite a while. What else is there for me? Yeah, I think I might do. Northern. Yeah, I think if I were to have a favorite railway on Sodor, oh, that was a bit loud, sorry. I think if I were to have a favorite railway on Sodor, I think it was honestly the Coldefell Railway. That was always my favorite, just because if they've got views as good as this, then that is my home. You know, that is my home ground. Like, that is where I'd want to live to the end of my days. But also in saying that, the Aylesdale Railway is pretty cool as well. As well as, of course, the Scarlowy Railway. I think it's just the narrow gauge ones are just better. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. I think it's just the narrow gauge ones are just far nicer than the standard gauge ones. Because the standard gauge ones are quite big and bulky and whatever, but these ones, they're just all different and unique in their own special way. Like what do you mean these ones Like, you don't see locomotives like these generally anywhere else. Like, yeah, you see them, like, maybe in Switzerland, but that one's, like, already, like, flat to the ground. Meanwhile, these ones, you already can tell they're, like, okay, I don't know how to describe it. They're flat on flat rails, and then they're angled on angled rails, but the Swiss ones are straight on angled rails. I don't know, man. I'm a little bit rambling at the moment. I think the Tailflynn Railway is always an end point. I think if I were to go to the UK, I think I would make it a multi-month trip. You know, like if they were to announce an Audrey Extravaganza 6, which is unlikely, but if they were to do that, like next year or the year beyond, I think I would want to go there in like April, explore around, then make my way there in July, August, then get back on a flight back home in October. You know, have an idea of a landing in April, leaving in October, you've got $15,000 in your pocket, you just go and explore. And I think that's the fun of travel. Like, I've seen people talk about that. That's the fun of travel. Is when you don't actually know where you're going, where you just land in London and you say, okay, I'm going to be leaving from Rome in like 100 days. How am I going to get to Rome? So this funky thing. What are you? But yeah, I think I'm also as well. I think I'm, what was it? Oh wait, let's real quickly look at what accommodation costs at Tailflynn. Like if I wanted to go there. Because there's quite a lot of places, but the thing is that I can also like camp, you know, I quite like camping. You've got hotels, 3-star hotels, you got budget-in hostels. See, that's the thing, is like, I'd also like go with like a group of friends, but I don't really have any like major friends of note over in the UK. Like, I've only really got like friends at home. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through this. It's crazy. But yeah, I think if I were to ever do a live stream again, I think I'd try and find like a bit more of a idea of what to do, and I'll try and announce that beforehand, because quite frankly, I had an idea, but I don't really have an idea of what I'm doing here. Oh, the sun. Ah, my eyes. Anyways, that's pretty much been me for today. Thank you pretty much to everyone who has actually turned up. I didn't actually expect this much of a turnout. I don't really know when my hours are. Like, I think if I go to my channel analytics, I think. Which is, yeah, you can tell like when like I get the spikes in viewership. That's all fun, it's all neat. Where's it? Audience. Yeah, I kind of got like I kind of have to like pick and choose my times. That like when I know like my viewers are actually on YouTube, and like I don't want to pester them, if that makes sense. But yeah, 9.8 of you aren't subscribed. Well, I subscribed. 90.2% aren't subscribed. Oh, I find that fascinating. The female viewership has gone up a bit. Oh, Shorts viewership has gone up a lot. But yeah, I find it interesting. We know what we're doing. Yeah, fun fact of the day, the reason why, if you look at my things, it says that I'm in UK time, or I'm in UK based channel, it's because that, and I don't know how to describe this, when I had it set as New Zealand, I had so many Indian bots like subscribe to me, and I was like, no, I don't want to deal with that. So I set it to the UK, and since then it's actually got me like it's helped a lot. Yeah, like I like how like the new audience, regular audience. Yeah, but yeah, I just like how everything's just turned out. Like I think I figured things out in terms of what I want to do and what I want to make, and I have quite a lot in the making process. Like in fact, all these things here I wish to make, like probably by the end of the year even. By the way, yeah, that big iceberg video, I have it saved somewhere, but I need to like look at it properly. I've got a good doc for it. I want to talk. I want to actually talk about the Top Gear episode. Like, there's that one with the race to the north with Tornado and James May and such. I really want to talk about that episode. In fact, just generally Top Gear in general, like the trains of Top Gear. Actually, that would be a great one to talk about. So that's the problem is that I'm not certain about how many trains I can talk about with Top Gear and how, like, whether the BBC will allow me to have the footage. Because sometimes they can be a bit strict. I might... Yes, Snowpiercer TV show. There's a crazy TV show there, but I think I'd eventually talk about it. Top 5, bottom 5 locomotives? Yeah, I'd consider it. Yeah, I won't be doing a Shed 17 timeline. I mean, maybe, but probably not. Well, to be fair, there's some years at least in it, so maybe I could, but I think I'd have to age restrict that video. I think that one's going to be that's going to be over 18s, because I cannot talk about the stuff that happens in that series without getting a little bit gruesome. But yeah, TDRS, wait, yeah, let me search him up. Yeah, Dark DJ Productions, and he recently just hit 9,000 subscribers, so that's based. Oh, I just gotta check this. What's the most popular video? I don't just like to check this most popular video. Yeah, it's season 1, History of the Dark Railway. Because I think it's the fact that, like, you got 13 seasons, about, like, what is it? 10 episodes each, counting for an off the cutting room floor. There was a playlist that I had somewhere along the way. But yeah, I had like every single one of these. Oh damn. I'm gonna save that one for later. But yeah, if I search up the problem is that I would want to do a Dark Railway thing, but the problem is that it's part of the universe known as the 77C. Ah, bugger. 77C. So basically you've got Rails to Refuge. Right, that's part of the series. Then you've got Over the Hills. What was his name? Reese? Yeah, this one, Over the Hills, the Tales of the Penwith Valley Railway. Then you've got Tales of New Wessex. Like, that's the problem, is that I would wish to talk about them. I want to talk about them, especially the fact that, like, the cathedrals. But it's the fact that they all cross over a lot. Like, genuinely, like, way too much. And so, like, I think I would do that, but I think I would make that, like, a series. So I think I might just note that down, like, a 10 episode. Oh, yeah, see, I wanted to do, like, a video game video, but that's the problem, is that the Uncharted games are not in, or at least Uncharted 1 to 3 are not on Steam PC, and that really sucks. I mean, 4's on there. 4's a great game. But yeah, like, I don't know. There's things in the works. I have ideas, I have plans. Like, this channel isn't going to be dead anytime soon. The only way it would die would be if someone were to, like, report it for just some random thing that literally doesn't even, like, affect me at all. Like guys, come on. But yeah, I think that might be it for today, unfortunately. So yeah, take care, everyone. I guess I don't really need to say like, share, subscribe, comment, do the things YouTube tells me to tell you, because I've already told you it right now. Yeah, I'll just. Why is everything not working on this? Okay, I'll go figure this all out, and then I'll come back and it'll be a lot better next time. But yeah, this is because I'm doing it on like on my single laptop at the current moment, so it's a little bit awkward and annoying. But anyways, that should be everything for today. I hope you take care, everyone. I'm gonna turn that one down. Goodbye.